circumcision can be put on hold, right? Why? Let's go back and look at the pattern. Look at the pattern that we see in our Torah. I mean, when was Abraham circumcised? Abraham was obeying the Most Highest, and the Most Highest found favor with Abraham way before he was circumcised, right? So again, we have to look at that as well. Abraham found favor with the Most High way before he was circumcised. Way, way before. So examine that as well. Yes, circumcision is important. You see? Circumcision is important, but again, Abraham was serving the Creator before circumcision. Think about that. So when we look at this pattern, we cannot forsake the facts. You see, circumcision for Abraham came much later. He was in obedience to the Creator way before circumcision. Abraham wasn't circumcised as a baby. Think about that. So again, you have to understand these things. You have to have revelation of these things to really have fully understand. And I give thanks to the Creator for, the sons of Aaron, for the son of Aaron that I know has really, opened up revelation to me so that I can receive revelation. The teachers of Israel, the sons of Aaron. Now I tell you, I received this revelation from my teacher. It didn't come from God. God didn't give it to me. It came through the sons of Aaron. Me as Israel. So I have a high appreciation for our teachers, the sons of Aaron, who teach Israel. And many folks don't have that revelation about Abraham. They think Abraham was just Mr. Perfect. Abraham had faults. But also at the same time, Abraham was a great man. Why? It's because he obeyed God. He followed the voice of God to the T. And majority of the time he didn't ask questions, and he didn't come with no back chats either. Oh, well, God, I understand you want me to do this, but why? Why I got to do this, God? Why you want me to do this, that, the other, the third? You see, it wasn't all that drama. He wasn't coming as a drama king or a drama queen. He came, he did even more, and he kept doing. And he found favor with the Creator of the heavens and the universes. He found favor. Awesome. You can learn so much from Abraham. Yes, circumcision is important. Yes, it's very, very important. But does circumcision have to come first? Hey, it didn't come first for Abraham. And he think about that. Abraham was out here seeking the Creator. He didn't have circumcision first. Think about that. That's important to think about. When you say, Rabbi, circumcision, yes, circumcision is important. But what's even more important is that you really have a high understanding for the voice of the Creator. That you can obey that voice. And so when he tells you to circumcise, and when he tells you to go and make an offering and bring your son, don't bring no animals, bring your son. Wow. You see, that just don't happen overnight. For some folks, if you tell them to circumcise right now, they're going to run away from the Torah. Am I right? If you tell some folks right now, the first thing you have to do is go circumcise, man, that may run them so far away from Torah. But when you begin to just give them you give them the milk, you give the baby the milk, let them suck from the breast milk, and build up and be nurtured in the Torah. Then later, when you tell them to go circumcise, oh man, they're the first ones in line. Think about that. Circumcision today, that cringes. Men will cringe behind circumcision. How many men know what I'm talking about? You'll cringe behind that today. If you weren't born circumcised, Shabbat Shalom to you, Hakodim, son of Aaron. I mean, men, only the men need to speak here, because women, this don't pertain to you. That's a lecture in itself, right? Circumcision is for the man. It's not for the woman. What does that tell you? About who the covenants are with. Are they with the man or are they with the woman? Wow. That's revelation in itself right there. You see? So it's having an understanding, a high understanding of the voice of the Creator, that you can go out and you demonstrate that understanding. This is the beauty of the exile. Has so many beautiful facts to it. And that many people miss because they're so busy running behind, oh, we're cursed in the nations. Are you kidding me? I'm not cursed. Don't put me in your category. I didn't stay at your Holiday Inn last night. Don't put me in your category. Wow. So much to learn. So much revelation out there. But many people miss revelation. Because, you know why? Because they're following the wrong teachers. According to the Bible, they're following the wrong teachers. And this is why revelation is so watered down, and revelation is non-existent in a lot of folks' lives. Yet they say they're under the confines of the Torah. You're fooling yourself. But they just don't have the revelation. So am I going to waste, sleepless nights over folks not having revelation? No, I'm not. So you just have to leave some folks to it. And those that get the revelation will get it. And those that don't, then so be it. That's where we are today. 2018 going forward. And 2018 in the past. Past 2018. From the very beginnings. Look at Abraham. Abraham, we can do studies and studies just on Abraham's life. And learn, we can teach, do Shabbat lectures the rest of the whole of our, the whole of years to come just teaching on Abraham. And the great attributes and qualities that Abraham brought to the table. Awesome. So I'm glad I'm coming in crystal clear. And I'll turn it over to our Kohen. And we'll start when the Kohen, the son of Aaron, is ready to start. But there's just so much to do. The foundation must be built. It must be built here in the exile. This is the beauty of the exile. We build the foundation. We go through what you may call, some of you, bad times. So we can appreciate good. Have a high respect for good. Don't see your bad times as bad as a bad thing, but see it as a great opportunity. So when good looks you in the face, you'll recognize it and realize good for what good really is. Not to mention greatness. There's great men, there's great women in this world, but we miss them. Why? It's because a lot of us is cloaked behind the beautiful long curly hair. It's cloaked behind the dreadlocks. It's cloaked behind the big butt and the smile. It's cloaked behind color. Oh my goodness. A lot of you are missing greatness because you're so hung up on color that you miss greatness. Oh, wow. Tada for that, Emokma. Okay, on that note, I'll close it up. Tada for your responses. And Shabbat Shalom to all of you, Kol Israel. World over. Shabbat Shalom to you. Have a wonderful Shabbat. And remember who you are. As Moses, the great teacher, the rabbi. Oh, Judaism wants to talk about the rabbi meaning these men. No, when we talk about the rabbi as descendants of the Hebrews, we're talking about the rabbi, meaning Moshe, Moses. Not some Johnny-come-lately. No, we're talking about the rabbi. The greatest teacher, Moses. Hashem, Master Jesus, for Moses. So on that note, I'll release the mic. If you guys have any testimonies, you guys want to give esteem to the Abba on this Shabbat. This is not a day. This is the Shabbat. On the Shabbat, then please feel free to do so. When the Most Highest is closest to His people, His ear is most closest to His people on this day. You have a close ear, a closeness, the closest, heaven is going to be to you is going to be on this day. And science has proven that as well. The closest the earth is to the sun. Wow, that's awesome. So, we leave science in its place. But we must put history in its proper place as well, with the facts. And not all these truths that's out there. So on that note, I'm going to release the mic, and we'll fire it up whenever the Kohen is ready. You all have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom to you, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon Altef, and this is the Sabbath, and this is the teachings. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Okay, this is great. Before I start, I think I need to give you a couple of jokes, but I also give praises to the Master Yeshua for the mercies and the favors that He's given us as we are here. But nevertheless, let me give you a couple of very important jokes, which I feel are very important because they are relevant to my lecture as we'll go through it. So our first joke is regarding an archaeologist. After having dug to a depth of 10 feet, last year New York scientists found traces of copper wires dating back 100 years and came to the conclusion that their ancestors already had a telephone network more than 100 years ago. Not to be outdone by New Yorkers, in the same week, the followed Californians archaeologists dug a depth of 20 foot, and shortly after, headlines in the LA Times newspaper reported California archaeologists have found traces of 200-year-old copper wires and have concluded that their ancestors already had an advanced high-tech communication network 100 years earlier than the New Yorkers. Not to be outdone by that, 1 week later, Texas newspaper reported the following, that after digging 30 feet under the ground, Baba, he was a self-taught archaeologist, he reported that he found absolutely nothing. Therefore, Baba concluded that 300 years ago, Texas had already gone wireless. Isn't that amazing? So what we learn from this, and we will learn from this that really, I mean, it's in your faces. Technically, if you look at it, Texas is an extremely blessed state of America. And you find that a lot of jobs in Texas, a lot of people are moving into Texas. In fact, the whole of Mexico wants to move into Texas. let's just be honest about it. You know, they're building a wall, or they're trying to build a wall, because Texas has got opportunity, as Rabbi Kefa will no doubt tell you. But I have another joke which is also relevant to our lecture, and I thought this would be interesting to read as well. And it says as follows. This is about pastors. At a recent pastors' retreat, each minister in attendance was asked the following question: how many people does it take to screw in a light bulb? The answers were as follows. The Presbyterian pastor responded, none. If God wants a bulb screwed in, He is sovereign and will do it Himself, without human effort. The Charismatic pastor replied, none. The bulb doesn't need to be changed. We should pray that it be healed. A Pentecostal pastor said, none. We simply need to cast out from the bulb the demon of darkness. The Fundamentalist pastor stated, none. We shouldn't even enter the room because we need to keep ourselves separate from all darkness. A Baptist pastor responded, none. If we allow physical contact between a person and the bulb, it might lead to dancing. The Wesleyan minister responded, none. If we just show the bulb its need, it already possesses the power to screw itself in. A non-denominational pastor said, none. We don't want to make the bulb feel unwanted or uncomfortable. So, this poll, it provides one clear conclusion. It's no wonder pastors are always in the dark. So I thought this was kind of relevant as a joke, because it really is what's going on out there, to be honest. I mean, look around yourself. This is what's happening. So what's really happening is that we're expecting, and majority of us are like that out there, we're expecting that I shouldn't lift my hand off. I should wake up in the morning, sit on my table, and my breakfast is presented before me, and my food jumps into it kind of floats into my mouth, like the elevation, or when the food starts to come out of the plate and into your mouth. In other words, what we've kind of got used to is that we do nothing, and the food is in the plate and it jumps into our mouth, and we just chew on it and eat it. And so we have to understand scriptural principles, and we will look at scriptural principles during this lecture, and you will learn firsthand the experiences I have with God. Osmosis indeed, yeah. Experiences I have with God, and experiences others of my students have had, and things that have occurred. Now, of course, we all want to get ahead, but we all have to have principles in place to get ahead. You don't just get ahead by just wanting to get ahead. Do you understand what I'm saying? So with that, first of all, I want to give thanks to the Master Yeshua, the Lord Jesus of Nazareth, for the fact that because He is Yahweh indeed. I had somebody wrote into me from Africa, and they basically asked me something which I had a few questions on. They said they wanted to get a loan. They didn't tell me the amount, and they didn't tell me what the need was, and all I knew was that they wanted a loan. And the first question that came into my mind, because this person who's trying to acquire the loan, I don't even know who they are. I've never met them, never seen them, never spoken to them. They obviously just sent out this text to me, and that was a request that Rabbi, you came to our country once. We would like you to pray for me. I have this situation going down that I need help in. So my first question, I guess, was, in your humanity, you think, well, if somebody wants a loan, are they able to pay? Because if I'm going to pray that they get a loan and they can't pay, well, the bank's going to be out of the money, right? So I might be putting the bank out of the money, but then I thought, well, the bank is insured. Money is always insured in the bank, so even if they give you a loan, they will never be out, because they will usually insure the money. From my knowledge and understanding, when banks lend you money, they insure it so that if you default, they can pick up that money from their insurances. Anyhow, so along passing, I just simply presented the case to the Master Yeshua, and I said that you know best, so let that be, let that stand as you know best. And this week, a few days later, I had a response back from the person saying that now a little bit more information was given to me, only so much so that the man said that the loan is not a small loan, it's in the millions of dollars, by the way. And I was told that he's been shortlisted. So I was told that my prayers are working, please continue to pray for me, and I have been shortlisted. So there you have it, the power of God at work, Baruch Hashem, Master Yeshua. And that's not the only thing that occurred. Many other things happened that I am unable to always tell you everything, because some things are probably for another time. The sound is the sound is working fine, and somebody may want to give him some assistance. So having said that, I have several questions. Let me 1 second. Let's just deal with this person once and for all. So having said that, we'll put him out of his misery, because we don't need people in here telling us what they're listening to. If they don't want the word of God, then they shouldn't be in here, because this is a room on the Shabbat. The purpose of this room is to give you the word of God. And if the word of God has no relevance in your lives, if you want to listen to music, or you want to listen to chitter chatter, or you want to chit chat, then there are many rooms in Pal Talk that you can go and listen to, and this definitely is not the room for you. Having said that, our Parsha this week is Parsha Eikev. And Parsha Eikev, I'm going to Eikev means heel, or on the heel of, and I want to just read a little portion to give you a flavor of the goings on in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 12. Therefore it shall come to pass, if you listen to my voice, to these judgments, and guard and do them, that Yahweh your power, or it might say in your Bibles, the Lord your God, shall guard you into the covenant and unmerited favor which he swore to your fathers. And he will love you, and bless you and multiply you. He will also bless you with many children and the fruit of your land, your wheat and your wine and your oil, the offspring of your oxen and the flocks of your sheep, in the land which he swore to your fathers to give you. You shall be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. And the Lord your God, or Yahweh, will take away from you all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Mitzrayim, Egypt, which you know about, but will lay them upon all them that hate you. And you shall conquer all the people which Yahweh your power shall give you, or the Lord your God, if you got the KJV. Your eyes shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their powers, for that will be a trap for you. Now, you may wonder at this point why the heck Rabbi Simon translated these words as power or powers in Deuteronomy 7:16. Why didn't he just translate it as God or gods, as it pertains to the translation of the Hebrew Bible? In contra translation into the English, in which I refer to these verses as power or powers. And I want to take you back to Deuteronomy 7:14, I believe it is. The words there, the words in Deuteronomy, that's not 7:14, that's 7:16, and the words 7:16 in the Hebrew are as where it uses the word gods, the word Elohim is used in the Hebrew language. And Elohim can be translated as God or gods. It's really a plural word. And today, the Ashkenazi are still arguing about whether it's plural majesty or just plural singular plural. So they're still arguing about that. However, I'm way past that argument because I'm not in that camp, put it this way. So to me, this verse really should have been translated originally as powers, not as gods or not as just power or God. It should be in the plural originally. And I'll give you my reasons why. Is that because you might think that maybe the reference is a higher power, but actually the reference is necessarily not a high power. And if I break that verse down, 16 of Deuteronomy 7, put your fingers on it, write it down. If you got notepad paper, it will help you. I think that you should take notes. Really, you should take notes when I speak, because it will help you later in your day or in your life. Because I'm going to give you some information that no one's going to give you on this planet. And then if you don't take notes, it's just going to go from one ear to the other ear, and you're not going to be the better person that you should be. So I advise you to take notes and cross-reference with whatever Bibles that you have in your house. You can always go and purchase the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls from where I'm reading. But if you rather not, or if you like your King James Version, as some people are die-hard King James Version Bibles only, then that's fine. You can reference it through there. And it says, and you shall conquer all the people which Yahweh your power shall give you. Your eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their powers, for that will be a trap for you. Let me read that again. And you shall conquer all the people which Yahweh your power shall give you. Now, to most of you, this almost sounds like, oh well, this is just another verse about war. When we go to war, when we have these people in front of us, we are to conquer them, and we are to subdue them, and God has given us the power. So what what Baba does, out of Texas, he picks up his rifle and he goes out and says, I'm going to go fight a war because the Lord is with me. And he goes to fight a war and he gets shot. As soon as he's about to lift his rifle, the other person who has also guns, he pulls his gun out first and he shoots him down, and Baba is now injured. Because Baba didn't realize that these verses are not necessarily war verses. They're not necessarily to go out fight with your neighbors. They have to go out fight with another country, in the Gulf War or things of that nature. Actually, these verses apply to our life today, my life, your life, everybody's life, wherever you are. They apply to us. How do they apply to us? 1 second. Let me just send a message out. So they apply to us. Question is, how do they apply to us? They apply to us because these are spiritual verses. They have impact both in war and in normal situations. How, you may ask, how is it that this applies in a normal situation? Because you will read these verses, if ever, majority of the Christian world will never touch these verses. They're like taboo. The book of Deuteronomy is taboo to them. Only if it talks about tithing or something they may touch it. But otherwise they'll be like taboo. No, I'm not going to touch it because this is old covenant. This is what they are taught. And so they'll never touch them and say, well, you shall conquer all the people. What does that mean? Oh, well, it must be war. I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm not going to conquer all the people. And it says, your eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their power. So what will be a trap? That will be a trap for you. Now, let me tell you why these verses are relevant. These verses, believe it or not, may apply to your spouse. You will laugh. You say, how do these apply to my spouse? These verses may apply to your brother. These verses may apply to your father and mother. And you say, how does this apply to my father and mother? Because your father and mother, your parents, may be serving idols. Maybe they are worshipping idols. Maybe they are in a religion today that believes in idol worship. And so therefore, now, are you in your own home, living with your parents who serve idols, who believe that idols can listen and idols are gods in the plural? Because remember, people who serve idols, they don't believe in one idol as a supreme God. They believe in many idols. They believe that different idols have different functions. And so here, what you're potentially coming across is a member of your own family, and that member of your own family is actually, my goodness, fits that verse to the letter. And so you think, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. Oh, I thought this was about war. Yeah, this is about warfare, spiritual warfare in your own home. So what is God telling you? God is telling you you're to subdue, you're to conquer all the people. You are to subdue them. Your eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their powers. That becomes a real problematic. If that is the case in your family, that's a huge problem. Why? Because they are your parents. They are the mother and father that you came out of. So how are you going to fight your parents? How are you going to be unmerciful to them and say that I'm going to subdue their idols and I'm going to break them apart? But see, that's not what it's saying. It's not saying that. It's actually giving you a spiritual principle, and it's telling you that you are to ride above them. In other words, because I dealt with this issue years ago. I dealt with this issue with so many families, so many young men, young women came to me, men and women, came to me and said to me, our parents are in serving, different gods. What do we do? And I dealt with that issue back then. And this issue is a spiritual issue, and this issue is telling us that if your parents are in false worship, and a lot of you know what I'm speaking about because some of you dealt with this as well, is that what do? Do you stay with your parents? Do you still respect them? Do you do what they're asking you to do? Because they may say you got to chant these words to these powers, to these idols. What do you do? So, and is an idol just an image? That's another thing. An idol doesn't necessarily have to be an image. So we must conquer that. Remember the key phrase, conquer. So the conquering is through us. How? Through my speech, through my actions. Not just speech, but through my speech and actions. If my speech doesn't follow actions, then my speech is really not getting me anywhere, is it? So that's exactly what I was telling you. If you remember, if I pray to God and say, Lord, provide me food on the Monday. I like to eat nice eggs fried. I like to have some carrots with it. I don't know, peas with it. Kind of made a little British breakfast and some toast with it. Well, for that, if I'm here on my own, I'm not going to just have it laid out on my table on Monday, am I? I'm going to have to go to the Walmart or a local grocery store. I'm going to have to buy the necessary items, bring them home. I'm going to have to then fry them, toast them, and whatnot. And then I'll put the plate on my table. Now, Baruch Hashem, Master Yeshua, thank you, Lord, that you give me this food. In other words, there's a whole process involved to getting there. Now, if I just said the words, I'm going to have breakfast on my table. No, I just said the words, Lord, put breakfast on my table. I want eggs, I want carrots, I want peas, I want a toast with marmalade or jam on it, strawberry jam, please. And I want it on my table, and I want a cup of tea. This is your, typical British breakfast. Might involve scrambled eggs, or maybe involves fried bacon as well, because I love their fried bacon too. But that will be off my menu. But my menu will probably have, as I indicated, may have a toast, may have beans, may have some even beans. So there you go. You know what to serve me if I come to your house. So having said that, that might be there, but I'm not going to get those items on the table without doing the action. So what is missing? You see, sometimes people come to me and say to me, Rabbi, I'm having these issues. Financial issues, or psychological issues, or some other issues where I'm not getting ahead. I'm doing what you're saying, but I'm not getting ahead. And I ask them a few questions about what they are doing. I try to get the process, and I find out that the process is not being followed correctly. Because if I go back and look at that commandment, it says, you shall conquer all the people which Yahweh your power shall give you. Well, how do I conquer my enemies? How do I have no pity on them? How do I not serve their powers? And how shall I not make that a trap for me? Well, the last verse is actually a key, for that will be a trap to you. The first thing I'm going to have to do, if I'm in a situation like this, in a spiritual situation where my parents are stuck with idol worship and I don't know what to do, the first thing I'm going to have to do is leave that place. You see, that's the spiritual principle. I'll leave that place and find myself another place to live, because the problem is that if I start speaking badly to my parents and I start lecturing them, well, God hasn't commanded me to do that. See, God has told me to respect my parents. So we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. How am I going to direct my parents? How can I talk down to them? Because they are the people I came out of. So I can't talk down to them, I can't disrespect them, I can't break their idols in their home. So what do I have to do? I have to leave that place. I have to separate. And that's the key that most people have missed. Therefore, I gave you the earlier joke about the bulbs. All the pastors of different denominations said, we don't have to do nothing. Some said that the bulb will plug itself in. Some said that the bulb already has a power. Yes, we as a illustration of the bulb, we as a human being, light and darkness, we already have the power to be light and the power to be dark. But that has to be activated. And if you don't activate it, nothing will happen. So just saying something won't get you there. Your faith must follow. If your faith don't follow, nothing will happen. And I think that's a key principle that many have missed on. Many have missed it. They have missed their boat because they didn't follow the key principle. Because Baba had to dig deep, 20, 30 foot deep into Texas earth to find out if there were any copper wires. So that is his faith. He dug deep to find out what's there, and he found nothing. So he concluded that Texas had gone wireless. From a joke aside, it did actually do something. So your faith must follow your works. So this brings us to James. James, having said to us in the book of James, which is really Jacob, in there he said that your faith has to be demonstrated by works. Now, if I don't do the work, how can I receive the reward? So this is the kind of spiritual principle that we have to deal with. And I guess, I'm probably going to jump from one area to the other, but the whole Parsha Eikev, the whole Parsha is a repetition of the Torah. Here Moses stands before Israel and tells them that you have to, in order to receive the blessings, you must do the works, compliance. And with that, I want to give you a verse of compliance, which is very important. And I think that it's relevant, it's important, and I'm going to pick it up from the book of Luke, chapter 6, verses 38. It says, "Give, and it shall be given to you, good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom, for with the same measure that you measure, it shall be measured to you again." Now, you might not think this verse has got anything to do with money, but it is actually got to do everything to do with money, because money is what the world runs on. It's the fuel. It's the fuel that the world runs on. You know, without money, we can't go from A to B. We'll be powerless. If we didn't have any money, well, I can't barter. You know, if I wanted to fly somewhere, in order to buy a ticket, I can't barter, you know, a piece of bread that I have or something. I'm going to have to buy a ticket, and I need real money for that. Dollars or pounds or French francs or whatever currency you're in. So what does the scripture tell you? The scripture tells you, if you want to be blessed, then you have to give, and the measure you give is the same measure you will receive back. And a lot of people, what they do, you know what they do? Let me tell you what they do, because I've seen it in the nearly 20 years of my ministry, is that they give you $1. They say, here, Rabbi, here's $1 of, you know, offering, and it might look great on piece of paper, but they have $10,000 in their account, or maybe they have a $200,000 home fully paid for. Maybe they have a brand new car parked in their driveway worth $35,000, you know, and they give you $1. Now they want to be blessed with $1,000 back. So they want to be blessed 1,000 times back. And you know what happens? Nothing. Because they missed the spiritual principle of giving. Because what did the Messiah Jesus, Yeshua of Nazareth, what did he say about the widow who came in and gave her, you know, only amount that she had in her purse, she gave it. And there was rich people before her giving a certain higher amount. And what did he say about her? He said she has given out of the goodness of her heart, out of her poverty, she's given everything. And yet these rich people have given, yes, but they have given out of their abundance. But this woman was poor. A woman only had a couple of coins, and she just gave those. That is what I will say is, if you want to be blessed beyond, you know, your imagination is going to do better for God. And if you can't do better, then don't expect God to you know, shower down money, dollars through your roof. Somebody I was speaking to last week, and I missed one. We were having a chat about a business. You know, this person has gone into a business, and they were asking me, you know, how to make this business successful, how to pray, what prayers to say, and how that business will become successful. And I didn't. I gave them something, but I missed one item out, and that is the key item that I missed out. And afterwards, I thought that I will talk about that item on another call, another time. That wasn't my time to give that item. So I said, "What are you talking about? Pray? What do you mean pray?" I said, "There's no formulas. There's no formulas that say, well, if I do, you know, if I read this passage and suddenly God will start raining money on me." I said, there is no such thing. So these ideas that you have, that, you know, if I do a certain prayer, God will open the windows of heaven. I said, these ideas come out of religions. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all of these religions have these ideas. If I recite this surah in Islam, if I recite this surah, I'm going to get money coming in. Hinduism even has it. Hinduism, if you chant this prayer, if you chant these words, you know, you're going to have money. And then you have Christianity. If you do this, you know, you're going to get money. So I told him that all these ideas that you're speaking about of, you know, receiving money through prayer is actually human ideas. They are not the ideas to get wealthy with. I said, in order to receive wealth, you need to do the compliance. Are you doing the compliance? Actually, I did give it to him, but I don't think he understands it fully. I'll probably have to make another call to explain the rest, so that he understands the principle of business. Because every business that is touched before started and then failed. Started and then failed. Started and then failed. And so I told him, I said, you're missing some key ingredients. And I gave him the compliance, but I didn't lay out what that compliance is. I was hoping that he would understand, but I think that I may have to spell it out. So, when people, I actually once wrote to somebody. There was somebody that I knew that was earning maybe they were earning $2,000 a month, for argument's sake, right? And all they were giving out of their tithe was $10 or at best $15. Well, that's not a tithe of $2,000, is it? Or even $1,000. If you're earning $1,000 and you give tithe of $10, well, that's not 10%, that's 1%. Your 10% is really $100, right? So I had to explain to these people that in order for God to make them prosper, they have to do the compliance, and they're not even doing the compliance. So I gave an explanation. I don't normally write to people and tell them that, but I told them, I said, if you want to come out of your situation, you're going to have to do the compliance. If your compliance falls short of God's need, of what God has said. This is exactly what Moses was telling people here, that be compliant. Be compliant and the blessings will come and follow you. But most people don't care about that. So therefore, in order to have that, we have to, if you don't comply, you don't get. And many people will pass through these rooms. I'm sure you can ask yourself, when's the last time you tithed to the Kohen in the gate? Probably for some of you, the answer is, I never tithe to the Kohen in the gate. Oh, I don't even know what that means. What, I'm supposed to give an offering? Oh, I thought this was a new covenant. Oh, they have 50,000 excuses. But that's not, compliance is very important. So Parsha Eikev in the Torah, in the Hebrew Bible, or the English translation, is all about compliance. Moses was speaking to Israel and saying that if you listen to my voice, to these judgments, and guard and do them. See the important bits there? If you will listen to the voice, Shema Israel, listen, and then it says guard and do them. Then it says, then the Lord your God, then the Yahweh your power will guard you into the covenant, and it will give you unmerited favor. Well, majority of the people, I can tell you, who pass through this room are not even worthy of having that unmerited favor. Because they don't even do 10% of the compliance. They don't care. They just pass through the room, they listen to 10 minutes and they disappear. Then they'll come again the same next week, 10 minutes, and they disappear. And this pattern is repeated over and over again. And these people from 2006 to 2018, they are the same situation. Nothing has changed, because guess what? Compliance is missing. They're looking for that holy grail. They're looking for that holy grail, that maybe the rabbi will give me one word and I'll use that one word and suddenly I'll become rich. So this is the problem. The problem is no compliance. So the very first thing that you should all learn is, if you should ask yourself that question, am I compliant? And if you are, great. And if you're not, you should then try to become compliant. And I think that will help you tremendously. No amounts that this will be a tremendous blessing if you even understand what I'm trying to teach you here today, is compliance is key. But let me show you something else, which is, my goodness, which is part of this lecture. And this is gonna propel you now a little bit forward. And the question or the title is Prophet and Priest. Prophet and Priest is the title. Now my question would be to somebody, who is your priest and who is your prophet? See, there was a person who came into this room last week and they disappeared afterwards, and they're like, oh, I'm offended because the rabbi said this to me and that to me, and I felt put down. Well, if you felt offended by what the priest and what the priest told you, priest of the Most High, God Yahweh, and you got offended by that because you were a little too, keyboard warrior, and you wanted to type 50,000 questions while a lecture is going on, then of course, you are going to be offended. And do you see me caring about it? No, I don't care about it, because my role over here is not to appease your ears and tickle your tummy, oh yeah, the rabbi tickling my tummy is feeling good. No, my role here is to give you compliance. And if you're not compliant, do you know how important compliance is? I worked in a $1 billion company, and that $1 billion company, compliance was key. It was a law firm. I worked in a bank, a huge, massive bank. It's called Goldman Sachs. I worked for them at one time. It's called compliance. You have to be compliant to the role that you're supposed to be in. You can't just waltz around, all over the bank and not do what the bank tells you. It's called compliant. In the law firm, if you're not compliant, authorities will pounce on you. So compliant is very important. Very important. We have to learn to be compliant. If we are not compliant, we will never get ahead. So my first question to you is, who is your prophet and priest? And I asked that question to that person the first time he came to me, and you know what? His answer was he didn't have none. And I asked him, when was the last time you tithed to your prophet and priest, or to your priest, to your Kohen in your gate? And he was like, what is that? I don't even know about that. So majority of people don't know. So let me take you back and let me show you the key to blessing, and the key to prosperity, and the key to wealth, and the key to success. That is prophet and priest. The key to that is the prophet and the priest. And you may say, well, how is it? How is it that I'm supposed to be, who is my priest, who is my prophet? Well, you'll soon find out, because we're going to start looking. We're going to start looking, and I'm going to show you. Let me take you back to our forefather Abraham. Now, let me ask you the question, who was Abraham's prophet and priest? Now, we know that Abraham was called a prophet as well, right? Who is Abraham's priest? And most of you know in Genesis 14 that somebody comes in and he is the priest. Now there's a lot of discussion around that somebody, because a name wasn't given. And we have a lot of discussion around that person. Well, the Christians believe that was Jesus Christ. He came over there as Melchizedek, and he did the blessing. However, we, from an understanding, a proper human understanding and a proper biblical understanding, know that that person is a king, present at that time, the king of Israel. So he was a Melchizedek, in the Hebrew means a righteous king, or my righteous king. That would be Melchizedek. Melchizedek, simply righteous king. He was a righteous king of Jerusalem. I really don't care whether people believe it was Shem or somebody else. It doesn't matter. That bit doesn't matter, because all we have to understand is, we can say it was Shem, or we can say it was somebody else. That really, it doesn't budge our faith. It doesn't move us left or right, because we know he was somebody who was the king of Israel, somebody physical. That we believe from the historical evidence that was Shem. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, that we are wrong, that it wasn't Shem. What, does it make any difference if it wasn't Shem? Let's say it was somebody else. Let's say it was one of Abraham's relatives. Let's say it was one of Shem's relatives. Does it matter? It doesn't matter, because the point is, there was a king and a priest. The king was acting as a prophet and priest, and he was somebody that we say is Melchizedek, Shem, or another person. If you believe it's another person, no problem whatsoever with me. Yes, you can believe that if you like. Now we go forward and we look and we ask the question, so Abraham had a prophet and priest, or priest and prophet, he was the one who was called the priest of the Most High God, Yahweh. Now let me ask you the question, if he had a prophet and priest, guess what? Abraham was going to him, and this prophet and priest was praying for Abraham. He was praying for blessings to fall upon Abraham. So whose role is it to pray for you to receive the blessings and the brachot? You should start answering that question today. And we move forward and we look. Then we go forward to Moses. Well, who was the priest and the prophet of Moses? And if you carefully analyze the text, and you will realize that Moses himself was a prophet, but Aaron was his priest. So Aaron became the high priest. So Moses and Aaron were kind of working for each other. so to speak. In other words, they were brothers, but God had chosen them to act in that role of prophet and priest. Technically, Moses was the prophet and king, just like Shem, prophet and king. So the priest was Aaron at that point. So who was given the commanded the blessing? Who was told that you're supposed to pray these prayers, that you're supposed to do this on Israel? Aaron and Aaron's sons, the priesthood. So therefore we see that pattern very clearly. So we move forward. Who was the prophet and priest of Joshua? Think about that for a minute. Who was it? Well, it's very simple. It was a son of Aaron, right? He was a prophet and priest, right? Eleazar, he was a prophet and priest for Joshua. And we move forward. Who was a prophet and priest in King Ahab's time? Because King Ahab was a king. He could be Melchizedek technically. He was, in the north, the king in the north. He wasn't a righteous man, but he did what he had to do. So who was a prophet and priest during his time? How about Elijah? Eliyahu. Elijah was a prophet and priest during Ahab's time. By the way, he's from the tribe of Levi, those of you don't know. So he was a prophet and priest. So God has a prophet and priest in every generation. Every generation has it. Who was a prophet and priest in King Saul's time? Can anybody tell me? We had King Saul. Who was a prophet and priest? Samuel. Thank you. So Samuel was a prophet and priest. So we move on. We move forward. Who was a prophet and priest in King David's time? Because remember, David was also called a prophet, but he still needed a priest. So who was it? Now that might be a little tricky, and it wasn't Nathan. And Eddie, you're right, it was Zadok. It was Zadok who was the son of Eleazar. By the way, I am from the same household. These were the prophet and priests during King David's time, and King David used those people a lot, tremendously, to get ahead. These are the people that pushed David ahead, and people don't even realize that. And who was a prophet and priest in Master Yeshua's time? Because remember, Master Yeshua's time also had prophet and priest, and we know that there was somebody there. Who? Can anybody tell me? In Jesus' time, Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet and the priest. Even though Jesus is called a prophet, but who was a prophet and priest? Thank you, Rabbi Yosef. Yes, it was Yochanan, it was John the Baptist was the prophet and the priesthood. He held the priesthood as well, but we also had the priesthood in the temple, so we could split it. We could say he was a priest as well as the temple was a priest. But Jesus never pointed his finger to himself and said, I am both. He didn't say that. We look at it and we might say it, but he didn't say that. So we had a prophet and priest. So there is your spiritual principle there. That spiritual principle should teach you that what's the prophet and priest. And I think that once we understand that spiritual principle, it will help you. And I like to go on, but I think I should maybe go on a little bit more. And I'm going to diversify a little bit. I'm going to diversify a little bit because I said to you something last week, and I don't think maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't hear it, maybe you have to go back to the recording on YouTube and re-listen in. But I think that we need to look at it. I said something that you maybe just went passing, and Rabbi Kefa probably heard it for sure. I said that one of my words, I said that my one word will propel you 1,000 miles forward. And I didn't explain how and why. Well, today's explanation. Who is your priest in 2018? If Zadok was a priest for King David and propelled King David into new heights, well, just ask yourself who will propel you in 2018. It's not going to be Zadok directly, it's going to be a descendant of Zadok. And that's very important to understand that. And so, when people come out of the blue and ask me to pray for them, and yes, I do at times, and it tremendously helps them. Why? Why? Because it's the same voice. God hasn't changed. Nothing changed about God. God still listens to the same voice of the priest as is done in the past. So coming back to the point of loving your husband and wife, I want to quickly change my lecture to something else, which is kind of parcel of everything, where we started and where we kind of finished, is love your husband, love your wife. So a home is traditionally built up of a couple, a husband and wife. And technically and physically and fundamentally, you have to love your husband, love your wife. But the enemy wants you to be beaten down. So what the enemy does, in order to downcast you, what they do is they try to destroy the family life. If the enemy can destroy the family life, then you cannot build that home. So the idea of building the home, bana, from where we get the word son, or to rebuild or build, is that you have to have that love and understanding. And if you don't, the home will be destroyed. There will be no sons and daughters, so to speak. So wives, I speak to you, wives. Wives, you need to build your husbands. If you're married and you have a husband, you need to build your husband. Because often I hear a lot of cursings from the wife against their husbands. They put them down, they call them names, they say that he is worthless, he's no good, he is not a good husband. And so what happens is that you're destroying your relationship and you're destroying your husband. In fact, a wife should be telling her husband that I love you, you're a great husband, you're my man, you're my protector, you're awesome, I feel safe with you, I will always stand by your side, your secrets are safe with me, you are mine, I love being with you, you're so smart, I totally trust you, I'm proud to be your wife, I wouldn't trade my life without my life with you for anything, I will always be loyal to you. These are the words that should come out of a wife's mouth, not, oh, I hate you, you're no good, how do I know that you're not behind my back, spending your night with somebody else, you're having an affair, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're not a good provider, you're ugly, all of these words. And what do you think will happen to the husband who hears these words from his wife, negative words? They will destroy the husband. Negative words will destroy you. Negative words will destroy your home. And same with the husband. The husband, instead of telling his wife that you're my queen, you're my everything, you're beautiful, you're a beautiful woman, I love spending time with you, he needs to tell her she's intelligent, she's smart, and I'm proud of you. Instead of saying that, if the husband tells his wife that you're no good, you're a harlot, you're a whore, you're this, you're that, and the third, well, we're actually destroying the home. Instead of saying thanks for looking after our home, thanks for lifting me up, thank you for being there for me, I'm blessed that you're my wife. These are the kind of words that we should be uttering out of our mouth. Instead of the wife saying you're a useless husband, you make me sick, you smell of beer, I hate you. So when we continue to give empty words, when we continue to use, it doesn't have to be wife and husband, it could be brother, sister, it could be parents and children. The situation can change accordingly. And if we continue to do that, we are actually prophesying the fall of that person. The word of the Master Yeshua in Matthew 5:22 word that whosoever is angry with his brother shall be in danger of judgment. Whosoever shall say to this brother, Raka, meaning empty one, shall be in danger of the Sanhedrin. Whosoever shall say, you fool, shall be in danger of the fire of Jahannam. How many homes today are being destroyed because of negation, negative words being spoken against people who then act out those negative things? How many homes? So many homes are being destroyed. So we cannot expect that we are going to get ahead in life by putting other people down. It happens. It happens that sometimes we get angry and we have a quarrel or fight, and we get angry in a household, maybe with our spouses, or maybe it's with our parents, or maybe it's with our brothers and sisters, or maybe with friends, and then we say every expletive under the sun. And that's something that we have to be mindful of. So if I can teach you anything today, is I've taught you a number of, I touched a number of areas, And the point of touching those number of areas, if you came in late, you may have missed those, but this recording will go on YouTube at the end of, at the end of the session today, sometime today. And so you should pick it up at YouTube if you missed the very important parts at the beginning, where I gave you a couple of jokes which are very relevant to our living and what we do. And so I cannot expect to become rich but not do the compliance. Just sit there, I can't get rich by just sitting there, so I have to do the compliance as well. So I would encourage you all that if you are not compliant with the laws of God, that you learn what that compliance means to you and try to be compliant. Because if you are compliant, you are already seeing blessings in your life. I know some of you personally, and I know because you tell me how blessed you are. Because the people in this room, many of you are compliant, and you're extremely blessed. You have happy homes, you have happy wives, happy husbands. I know that. But again, remember that compliance is very key. And remember the other bit that I gave you, who is your prophet and priest. Because if you don't have a prophet and a priest, if you don't have a priest, you're not going to get far ahead. You're going to, somewhere along the line, if you think you can do it yourself, if you think you are an island and you can do it, then you're going to find at some point you won't be able to break through that. You won't be able to punch through that wall. God's going to put a wall in front of you and you won't punch through it. Doesn't matter how hard how fast you strike. You're a taekwondo expert, you're a martial art expert, you're a boxer, you strike real hard and the wall will come tumbling down. The answer is no. It will not come tumbling down. Joshua had to use the priesthood. Joshua's time, he had to use the priesthood to go around Jericho 7 times to bring those walls down. Whose trumpet sounds brought those walls down? Who went around the walls? If Joshua had just sat in his chair and allowed the priesthood to do that, those walls would have been brought down by just the priesthood, nobody else. The priests were the key part of it, but you see, people forget. Because what was Israel doing? Israel was doing this. Israel was like, oh, we're as grasshoppers. Oh, those guys are giants. Oh, they're so big. We're tiny. What are we going to do against them? See, Joshua used the priesthood because God wanted to zip their mouths. God said, zip it. Zip it, Israel. And said to the priesthood, you're to march around, but don't speak until I tell you to speak. Zip. Everybody zip their mouths. Don't say it. So what principle did God teach us? Zip your mouths for negativity. Don't say, oh, he's a giant. Oh, I'm only a tiny man. I'm small. He's going to destroy me. If you keep saying these things, any problems that you have in your life, they may appear as a mountain. And you're going to say, that mountain's going to crush me. Well, you're already crushed. You spoke it against yourself. You're already crushed. But what does God say? What is the principle that God uses? Zip it. Even if you think in your mind, zip, don't say it. When I tell you to speak, you speak against that mountain. And that's exactly what Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, said. Speak to the mountain. Don't tell me how big the mountain is. Don't describe the mountain. Oh, Rabbi, this mountain is so huge. I can see trees over there, palm trees, and I can see oak trees. I don't know if I ever get over there. I don't know if I ever climb this mountain. So don't speak about the mountain. Speak to the mountain. Don't speak about it. Speak to it. That's what the Master Yeshua taught us. Speak to the mountain, not about it. Because if you want to climb that mountain, if you want to conquer that mountain, speak to it. And the priesthood, time and time again, God has demonstrated and used the priesthood to demonstrate that very point. Hence why it was God telling the priesthood, you are to command the blessing. You are to speak the blessing. And the Israel. Put you, Rabbi Kefa.
To Daha Kohen, son of Aaron, for the jam-packed wisdom and understanding that comes from the voice of Elohim, from the voice of the Most High, the Most Highest, Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus, Jesus of Nazareth. So real quickly, if there's anyone that new to the room, and you haven't acknowledged yourself, I would encourage you to do so at this time. If you all have had in these past 6 days of labor some great miracles that have occurred in your life, great workings of the Most Highest, I would encourage you all to let the mishpacha know. I know everyone in this room is going through some kind of situation. I mean, good or bad, you're going through a situation. Life is not like Forrest Gump says. Life is not like a box of chocolates, which I do love chocolates, by the way. But life is a box of situations. How many of you understand that? You know, either you're going through a good situation or a bad situation, but at the end of the day, what you need to do, as the people of the books, is give esteem to the Master Yahweh, to the Abba Yahweh, to the Master Yeshua, for being in exile with you and still giving you guidance and direction and really, you know, getting you through these moments. Through who? Through the sons of Aaron. Because last time I checked, can anyone in this room tell me if God has spoken to them, like one-to-one, where God, you know, He comes down, you know, from His, you know, just, you know, busy schedule. He comes down and He has, you know, tea and crumpets with you at noontime at the table. You guys sit there and you have discussions over tea about where your life is going and how you're going to get there and blah, 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 blah. How many of you are having these kind of conversations to where, you know, 12 o'clock noon sharp, you know, God of Israel comes down and he has, you know, a one-to-one with you, and you have this time together where you guys sit down, you know, and discuss things over peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I mean, how many people get this? You know, my goodness. I mean, but again, a lot of people think this way. You know, you have these one-on-one conversations with the God of Israel. Oh, God speaks to me, and He directs me, and God is my teacher. All of this bunch of hogwash. That's all it is. It is pig water. I'm telling you. I just came up with that one. But it's pig water. You know, you have to quit drinking of the pig water, because pig water is not healthy to the body. And you drink pig water, and it's going to come out the other end, and it's not going to be a pretty sight as well. So we must come out of all of this foolishness when it comes to really understanding the voice of God. And this is what Moshe was doing. Again, in his final words, you know, here on this earth to the children of Israel, who he truly led and guided for generations, right? My goodness. You see? So I think it's important for really understand and really try to have an understanding of taking the patterns that we see in our Torah and taking those patterns and bringing them right into 2018, because they truly do apply. Truly do apply. And so what we're going to talk about today in my lecture is so very important. It's the basics. It's the fundamentals of your, you know, Torah way of living, way of life. Though this way, not this faith, not this belief, but this way that you live. When you make Torah a way that you live, my goodness, you want to talk about changes in your life? Yeah, they're going to happen. Torah will transform you. Torah will take you and magnify you to heights in the heavens. I'm telling you, it will. But you have to make, you know, taking that yoke of Torah upon you is more than just mere lip service. I've seen many go through the lip service of taking the oath and saying, yes, I'll denounce all the world government systems, and I will take the yoke of Torah. How many of you in this room have made that oath? How many of you made that vow already? Put up a capital O if that's you. You made that vow. You said, yes, Rabbi, at one time or another, I did that. I took that oath, and I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace this Torah. I'm going to take the yoke of Torah upon me, and I'm going to denounce the worldly systems. I'm going to denounce everything else in this world. And Torah is going to become truly king in my life. The words are so nice to say, but yet I've seen many people take the oath, and to this day, I can't find them. To this day, you don't know what they're doing, where they're at, because they've taken the oath. But at the same time, we're taking the oath with their mouth, but their actions ran away from the oath. So what does that mean? You take the oath with your mouth, but then your actions don't back up the oath that you said you took with your mouth. So what does that make you in a nutshell? Can anybody give me some adjectives that would describe that kind of person? J.B. Yasrael says non-compliant. Shane Yah says a liar. Shabbat shalom to you, Shane Yah. Shane Yah says a liar. Lion princess says a liar. Yael, woman of the tent, says a hypocrite. Yeah, you might be saying a deceiver, Adelia says. You know, these are some true descriptions, factual descriptions of the particular action that we just described that I have seen played over time and time again. Being under the tutelage and under the umbrella of the sons of Aaron. You begin to see who really is what they say they are by what they do, not by what they say. I've been hoodwinked and bamboozled so many times about what people say, and hoping, my goodness, praying that their actions back up what they say. How many of you have been there? Bro, you just hope that this man or this woman, gonna do what they say they're gonna do when they told me they're gonna do it. Let's see if they're gonna do it. Wow. And then sometimes people stress over that so much to where, because they hinge their very livelihood on the words of folks. And how many of you know sometimes folks let you down? But Torah would never let you down if you truly embrace Torah. It won't let you down. When you make Torah your way of life, the way your very livelihood, when you make Torah your lifestyle, that's what that oath is all about. Making that Torah your lifestyle. My goodness. Let me tell you a joke. Let's talk about some more riddles today, which are kind of like jokingly riddles, but have high relevance. How many of you like grapes? How many of you are a big fan of grapes? Goodness, my wife is here now. I'm eating fruit like crazy, but she'll never take the Hebrew out of me because I always get my meat, and she understands that. I mean, grapes. My goodness, grapes, all kind of stuff. Rudy Benai says, eating them now. Book of shit, Jesus, it's great. Listen to this riddle. Tell me if you can figure this one out. What happens to grapes that worry too much? Again, I'll say that again. What happens to grapes that worry too much? You see, sometimes because we deal with this worry factor, a lot of so-called people of the books, those that have embraced the Torah, they worry. And they worry, and they worry, and they worry, and on top of that, they worry some more. You see? Shane Yah, you got it right. Shane Yah says they become raisins. How many of you like raisins? I raise my hand to that. I'm a big fan of raisins. I love me some raisins. Especially in my cream of wheat, in my oatmeal. Put me some raisins in there. My goodness. You had me at hello. I love me some raisins. So again, even through your time of worry, there's great blessings in that. But you must learn to come out of this worry factor. But I'll read the riddle again because I think it's really an instructional riddle. You see? It really is. What happens to grapes that worry too much? They get wrinkled and they turn into raisins. Now, I tell you, my wife is a big fan of always staying young. She's young forever. I tell you what, I don't discourage that. Maybe Shane Yah's wife probably the same way. Especially if you have women in the East, they like to stay young. And they'll do anything to stay young. They'll do anything. They want you to buy them any product that's going to help them stay young. And I don't discourage that. Because if she's applying and putting forth the actions to stay young, she's going to be young. And she will be young. And I'm going to tell you, this is fact on the ground. The other day, I'm preparing my daughter. I'm doing the father stuff now. I have a 14-year-old daughter now that's calling me dad, and that's kind of shocking. And Hakoin told me about this, which I thought was great words that he said. He said it this way. He said, "You have a ready-made daughter." I thought about that. I was like, "Wow, man, that's true." So now, you're hearing all of a sudden a 14-year-old, my 14-year-old daughter, she's calling me dad. So anyway, I'm taking her, preparing her for school, getting her enrolled and all this stuff. There's a lot of, you got to jump through, some hoops, which are, easy to go through. No problem. You just do them. You see, there's no problems when you just do. Many people complain because they don't do. But once you get in and begin to go through the process, you realize how easy it really is. So anyway, we're over here at the clinic because, my goodness, my daughter has to get all kind of immunizations before she can go to school. before she can literally step on the, take the first, class. She has to have all these immunizations. So we at the immunization clinic, a woman is talking to us, and the woman is saying, well, where's your wife? Because over here, I see these two women, they're sisters. My 14-year-old daughter and my little 49-year-old wife. Because I don't like giving out my wife's age. Because she's young. And my young wife, let me put it that way. So even, Gentiles are seeing that my wife and daughter look like sisters. Isn't that something? My daughter's 14 years old. And, you got these Gentiles, they said, oh, where's your wife at? Because these two women are sisters. I was like, Ruka Shem, Master Jesus. So my wife, wanting to be young, she literally is young. Do you see that? Take note, women. You are what you say you are. You'll become that. Think about that now. Now, she's not just saying it. I mean, she's doing all the necessaries to want to stay young as well. And she's literally not worrying about becoming old, because, come on, reality slaps you in the face, and we all age. But who's to say you can't age gracefully? Who's to say you can't age and be young? If any of you have any kind of, they talk about this a lot, the Gentiles over here. They talk about this about the Native Indians, the Native American Indians, the indigenous to this land. How many of you heard this phrase before? Oh, you look so young, you must have some Indian in you. How many of you ever heard that before? They say that a lot down here in the South. Oh, you just don't age. You must have some Indian in you. They say that a lot. Don't take it as being insulting, but see it as a compliment. A lot of times, if you have your feelings on your shoulder, they're easy to knock off. So I would encourage you all today listening via YouTube or listening live is don't have your feelings on your shoulder. Don't have your emotions on your shoulder, because they're easy to knock off. Easy to fall off when you bend one way or the other. You understand what I'm saying? And I guess the terminology they use today is emotional roller coaster. They'll say, oh, women are just a bunch of emotional roller coasters. No, they're not. So I think that's very, very important to understand as well, is that you are what you say you are, but more importantly, you have to back up what you say you are by doing particular, you have to go through the motions of being young. If you want to be young, you can't be young, saying you're young when you sit in the lazy boy chair. You can't say that you're taking the oath of Torah, yet you don't do what Torah tells you to do. What happens to grapes that worry too much? They get wrinkled and they turn into raisins. Not to say raisins are a bad thing, because I like raisins just as much as I like grapes. They're all from the same family. Just as much as I like dates, they're all from the same family. But it's just the phase, it's just the stage you want a place to put yourself in. See, because a lot of you complain, you sit there mumbo and jumbo and blah, blah, blah. Oh, Rabbi, why did I come into the Torah so late? So what? You may not be the grape. You may be the raisin. Why are you worried about that? What does it have to do with beings in Colombia? Perspective. And what Hakohin was giving you, the son of Aaron, in his lecture as well, is the great concept that the Imhokmak told me about long ago in the teaching that I did on the duct tape method. And how we just need to be quiet and do. Learn from the priesthood. They're just quiet, but they do. They just do. Their deeds will go thousands of miles before you even hear them speak anything. The deeds go way before. The actions go way before. We, as the children of Israel, need to learn from the priest, from the prophet. Here's another good one that's quite interesting for those of you who are aging gracefully as men. What did the bald man say when he got a comb? What did the bald man say when he got a comb? C-O-M-B. Anybody tell me? Think about that one. What did the bald man say when he got a comb? Any takers on that one? What did the bald man say when he got a comb? Think about it. This may be something to think about it. Bald man with a comb. What is it for? Your woman of the 10 says. What did the bald man say when he got a comb? As some of you may be, aging gracefully and have a little bald spot here and there. I know I got a little dome up there on the top. Rukashim. He said, Good Times Road says, God bless. What did the bald man say when he got a comb? Well, this is what the bald man said when he got a comb. The bald man, what did the bald man say when he got a comb? I'll never part with it. You get it? That's a good laugher. I will never part with it because he can't part his hair, right? He's bald. So when you got a comb, what do? You use the comb to part your hair. That's a good one, right? What did the bald man say when he got a comb? I'll never part with it. The same way, let's bring that in the Torah. What did the Hebrew descendant of Abraham say when he got and received the revelation of the Torah? I will never part from it. Yet some take the oath and they part from it. When you receive the revelation of the Torah of Moses, you should say the same thing as the bald man says when he gets the comb. I'll never part with it. Not only say it, say it is the beginning, because when you say it, you start to play it into motion. I'll never part with it. Yael, woman of the 10 says, or from the sons of Aaron. Do you know what? That's synonymous. Torah is synonymous with the sons of Aaron. So you're literally saying the same thing, you see? You're literally saying the same thing. You're literally saying the exact same thing. When you say you want to depart from the voice of the Most High, as Moses is telling the children of Israel, is to listen to that voice. Well, as the children of Israel were wandering through the desert, the God of Israel, okay, it's 12 o'clock, or like the Germans do, 12 o'clock, oh my goodness, they shut everything down. That's beer break. Any of you ever been to Germany, you'll know what I mean. They have a time where they take a beer break and everything shuts down and you have yourself a beer. Your heavy Weissen, your Dunkel Weissen, all that Weissen that they have there, beer. And they literally take a beer break. That's something, right? Government shut down. Okay, it's beer time now. So did the God of Israel just shut everything? Okay, we're going to stop right here. It's time for our, we're going to sit down and we're going to glass, because if we love you. Remember what's one of the that actually in the temple? Look at home. This is no. Man, what's going to do? Complaining. What good is this comb going to do, man? I don't have no. So I got nice comb, but what am I received this gift. Maybe somebody gave it to me for free. I got this comb for free. Oh, they try to make fun of me. They try to make jokes. They know I don't have no hair. What, am I the brunt of everybody's joke? You see, always negativity in their thinking. Same way with the bald man. He's like, oh, well, I never part with this. I got this comb, but I never part with it. I'm a bald head. Don't think negative, think positive. Have positive thinking coming forth from you. Oh, I got this Torah, I received the revelation of the Torah, now I will never leave this Torah. All the searching that I done, it took me maybe years to get to this point of me going through truth after truth after truth to get to the facts. Wow, what a marvelous life. If you can say that about yourself. Why? Because you jumping from truth to truth to truth. Then you see what was wrong, what was terribly wrong, and what was just downright ugly. It's almost like that good old Western, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to see all of these bad things so that when good stares you here complaining, oh, Rabbi, why did God wait so long for me to get the revelation? Why did I come in the Torah? I can't do nothing for the kingdom of the Most Highest. Who said that? You're saying that. There's much that can be done, and much that many of you are doing as well. Many of you are doing great works for the kingdom of the Most Highest. As I leave the post office, on Fridays, being able to freely give out the words of the Most Highest, the covenant and the God of Israel. Initially wanted all humanity to follow, all of His creation. He wanted them to follow it. Here, follow these words. But people rejected it, didn't want it. They wanted to do things their way. They wanted it like Burger King. They wanted to have it their way. Have it your way mentality. When there's only one factual way of doing things. And that's what Moses was really trying to tell the people, the children of Israel. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But I'm in Texas, right? Everything's big in Texas, and even our cows. My wife and daughter got to see the Brahma bull up front and personal. Texas got these big old cows here with the longhorn cow. How many of you have ever seen one in person? My goodness, they're massive. They're massive. They're super massive. On top of some massive. But yet they're so gentle. What a marvelous animal. Also produces some great steaks, by the way. But just massive. Creation of the Most High is so beautiful. So this last riddle is dealing with, second to the last one. It's dealing with the cow. Listen to this one. Why do cows wear bells? Why do cows wear bells? Any of you ever farmers, you've been around cows, you'll hear the bells as they rumble through the pastures, eating the good green grass. Why do cows wear bells? And I kind of gave you some clues in my little beginning introduction to this. Anybody know why cows wear bells? To find them at night. That's a good one, Eddie's. To find them, to find the cows at night, the bells will kind of, give you a locator device like a GPS type system. I see that. That's good. Why do cows wear bells? Well, let me tell you why cows wear bells. Many of you city folks, you've never been in the country in your life, never seen the cows up on TV or in that steak that you had at your local steakhouse. Why do cows wear bells? Because their horns don't work. I like that one. Because their horns don't work. I'm looking at this longhorn cow down here in Texas, and you can't honk that horn. You can hold on to it, but you can't honk it. Their horns don't work. So they have to wear bells. Because their horns don't work. That's a good one, I thought. And here's my last one in closing. What did Ben Franklin say when he discovered lightning was electricity? What did Ben Franklin say when he discovered lightning was electricity? Good old Ben Franklin. I don't know if you learn about Ben Franklin in the UK. You probably do. As you go through, primary, secondary schools, they'll teach you about Ben Franklin. Good old Ben Franklin. What did Ben Franklin say when he discovered that lightning was electricity? Think about this. And this you can kind of take this and begin to apply this, and we're going to bring this over into the Torah of Moses as well. Because the Torah of Moses is even more valuable than lightning in a bottle, by the way. Y'all hear a woman on 10 says, what a shock. I'm shocked. You guys are spot on. What did Ben Franklin say when he discovered lightning was electricity? He said nothing. He was too shocked. You see, Ben Franklin didn't have nothing to say because he was shocked. Anybody of you, ever put your, finger in a socket or get shocked by lightning? You understand? You won't say nothing. Maybe some of you do. Maybe some explicitives. Because it doesn't feel too good, does it? He didn't, but Franklin didn't say anything according to the joke because he was too shocked. And think about this. The same way with the laws of Moses. When you have come into the revelation of the Torah, really, right, it's not much to say. You're not supposed to say nothing. I was too with shock and awe. And believe me, I was overzealous. I was a zealot when I came into the Torah. And my goodness, my family at that time got shock and awe. Christmas trees in the trash. Presents in the trash. My goodness, I gave them the shock and awe. And now that I look back on it and I have matured in Torah, I realized that was one of the biggest things that I did with that family. When you came overzealous, it's the wrong. It was very wrong. But Torah that you went hard. And I instead within the repairs and the Torah, I should understand the repair mode so I can begin to disseminate the repair mode within my family slowly. Like Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus, when you're with the sons of Aaron, things seem to move quickly. How many of you know what I mean? You seem to be on like a fast track. And that's just what was happening. So, basically, what I did was I didn't prolong the inevitable. I spared the inevitable. I put the inevitable in my face. Instead of waiting years, I let that stuff happen in months. You know what I mean? Which was a great thing as well. Although time is our ally, as the people of the books, I just sped time up a little bit. Made things happen quicker than they were going to happen anyway. Because the son of Aaron had told me, you know, I was going to have children, and the wife that I was with could not have no children. So what does that tell you? That there was going to be another wife on the scene. Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus. So then the process had to take place. I kind of sped it up a little bit, being overzealous. Which in some ways I see as a good thing. So, there we have it. The shock and awe of the Torah. We need to tone it down. And what we're going to learn today is like us being the Torah ambassadors to the whole world. The Torah protectors. The Torah guardians. How do we deal with those that are around us? And this is what's so very important to understand. Everybody says that they love God up and down the block, chop or block. But you hate your neighbor. You hate Harry. Your name's Harry, no offense. Listen to me on YouTube Live. But you hate Harry who lives next door to you. You and Harry don't get on. And this is what we're going to look at today, which I think is so very important. We really have to learn the aleph and the tav of the Torah. If you want all the other 22 characters, but there's the aleph and the tav that are important, the basics. Whereas the Gentiles will say the ABCs, the fundamentals, the foundation of what kind of character is needed, what kind of makeup makes up an individual who subscribes to take the yoke of Torah upon them with their lips. What are the commonalities that's going to be in all of these people that do this? What should I see in you, all of you in this room, listen to me, MP3, is the same thing that what should be synonymous amongst all of us? Of what would make a child of Israel? Woman of attention. That's what really. Are we just kind of compared to us? That's what we want to talk. I firmly believe conceptions to misanalyze just fine. Give me some. These down to the. That's one that you've not really observed. Did he just with their lips? Humility is one of the greater. Innovate and see the kingdom characteristics are criteria. The door is going to be you. Say, Peter, how many it might help you here? Give us talk about that lower. Well, we down to the meat broad. You have. Oh, I hate my wife. About that. Let's get down to reality. Let's get down to reality. Can you say you have love for the Torah, yet you say you hate Harry, your neighbor? You and Harry don't get on. But oh no, I love the Torah. I love God. Oh really? You better go back and read your Bible. You better go back and see what the Master Jesus of Nazareth said, because you're You're a little clueless, and you lack revelation, and you lack understanding, and you're not obeying God's voice. Because let's talk about what Moses was talking about here to the children of Israel. Think about what he was saying. Now, this is what I wrote down. What Hokmah was telling me this morning. I wrote these things down, Rabbi Benia. I wrote them down. Siding with the facts puts you at odds with those who are right. Think about that. Siding with the facts puts you at odds with those who are right. YouTubers, listen to this. Siding with the facts will put you at odds with those who are right. Everybody gonna tell you they're right. I like Hakolim, son of Aaron. I like his joke about the different pastors, and they all think they're right. Every pastor in the world think they're right. Hagee thinks he's right here in San Antonio. He thinks he's right. You see. Your lying princesses know what you speak, what you do speaks louder. Yes, for the Hebrew that should be true. So we have to look at the doings. And part of your doings are going to be what your character makeup and build up is about. How your character is what you're going to do. The characteristics that you upload. Let's go IT for a minute. The characteristics that you upload, and some characteristics. How many of you go through some deleting processes with your character traits? Some character traits need to be just straight deleted. You need to put them in a trash bin, and then you need to delete the trash bin. You see? But then the newer characteristics, the new character traits need to be uploaded. The ones that you upload, the character traits that are uploaded are going to be manifested in what you do. Your actions towards Harry, your neighbor, that hates the hell out of you. Harry hates the hell out of you. So what are you going to do? Well, Rabbi, I'm going to hate the hell out of Harry back. Oh, well, wow. What does that make you? That makes you, you know what trophy that gives you? The Gentile of the Year trophy. You just earned the Gentile of the Year trophy because, you do the same thing to Harry as Harry does to you. Wow. Oh, but I'm a witness to the Rabbi. I'm a witness to the Torah, Rabbi. The fundamentals of the Torah. Siding with the facts puts you at odds with those who are right. Embrace the facts, but expect to be labeled as wrong. Wow. I heard that one this morning from the Hokmah. I wrote it down, Rabbi Benia. Embrace the facts, but expect to be labeled as wrong. Amongst many other labels. Can anybody give me any other labels that they've had said about them? Because you embrace the facts. Many people don't want to embrace the facts today, 2018. They want some truth. And if your truth don't line up with how they feel, then you're a liar and you're all this, that, the other, and the third. Then they run to another truth until they get comfortable, until they find a truth that fits them. But facts, my goodness, they run away from the facts. That's why you don't see many people. Many people flow through here. Many people come through. They come through Forever Israel. They come through Israel Torah Protectors, blah, blah, blah. But the minute they sit down and the facts begin to marinate with them, some people can't handle it. So then they have to run away. And you have to leave these folks to it and respect them as well as they run away from the facts. Many people can't handle the facts. What are the facts? My goodness. Isn't that the $1 million question that everybody should be answering? Or at least asking, what are the facts? No, but everybody wants to run after truth today. And every rabbi in chock-a-block has the truth. So be it. But I want to run after the facts. Where am I going to find the facts? What are the facts? These are important questions. So Moshe, you know what, in a nutshell, Moshe is doing, and he's been doing in his last days on this earth. You know what he's doing? You know what he's doing to the children of Israel? He's doing this. He's telling Israel this. Do what you did to get here, then keep doing it. That's what he's saying. He said, do what you did to get here, children of Israel, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remind you what you did to get to this point. What you did to find favor with the Most Highest. And then you know what you're going to do after that? Then you're going to keep doing it. How do we coin that terminology today? You know how we coin that? We say rinse and repeat. Just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Do what you did to get here, and then guess what? Then keep doing it. Now, you can improve on when you keep doing it, right? You can get better at it. But just keep doing the same thing. And I wouldn't call it the same old thing, because that same old thing they like to call it is still just as fresh as new as today. So you have to be careful how you coin words. You see, Christianity says, oh, that was old, that's why we had to come up with this new thing. No, it's the same beautiful, beautiful thing that was done in the beginnings need to be done today. That's why many people don't have revelation to that. Many people have to apply things as old and new. You know, not for the Hebrew. Everything is just as fresh as it was when it came from the lips of Moses. Think about it. So we just have to keep doing the same new thing. We still just have to keep doing the same forever thing. That's what we do. The forever ways. They're forever. And when you get revelation of that, my goodness. So you only have to just keep rinsing and repeating. So that's what Moses was trying to remind the children of Israel of these facts. Look, the generation before you, let me tell you where they went wrong, but at the same time, let me tell you where they went right. And so you learn from what they did wrong, but you keep doing what you did to get to this point, to where you're on the cusp of going into the land flowing with milk and honey. What did you do to get here? Because a lot of children of Israel, they didn't remember. They didn't remember. They wasn't there. Just like today, you wasn't there, Mishpah. How many of you were wandering in that desert, and your shoes never wore out? How many of you, that applies to you? That don't apply to me. I wasn't there. So Moses, what he's doing, Moshe, he's reminding it. Oh, you better remember this. Remember what you did. Do what you did to get here. Do what you did to find favor with the Most Highest. And then guess what? And then just keep doing it. My goodness, it's awesome. Then keep doing it. Do what you did to find favor with God, and then keep doing it. Oh, once you learn that principle, my goodness, it makes life so simple. And I looked at this and I was like, wow. How many of you in your neighborhoods, you have a 7-Eleven? How many know about 7-Eleven? Can anybody tell me what a 7-Eleven is? You probably don't have them in the UK, but over here in America, 7-Eleven was here. I remember 7-Eleven as a child. I used to go to 7-Eleven, and they had this one little area in 7-Eleven when I was a child, and we could play video games. Anybody know what I'm talking about? They had this one little area that had these little video games. You go in there and play, put your quarter in there. I remember it used to be a quarter. Me and my sister and brother, we used to go to 7-Eleven. Right down the street, we walked down a couple of blocks, we had 7-Eleven. We get us a nice little slushie, these little icy drinks. Oh my goodness. You go there, especially, hot days in Louisiana. It's just hot in Louisiana. My goodness. Humidity's bad. You done your chores. Pop told you to cut the grass. You cut the grass. And so then you go, the Slurpee. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all hell woman of 10 on what I'm talking about. You go there and get that Slurpee, little slushy, Slurpee, whatever. Had a couple of different flavors going. I used to like the root beer flavor. Man, I get that root beer slushy, Slurpee, go in there, and it was nice and cold at 7-Eleven. You know what I'm talking about? How many of you are familiar with 7-Eleven? Any of you? Is it just me and Yael woman of the tent? JB Yasrael is? Any, let me know. Come on, we interactive here. The 7-Eleven, baby. It's the 7-Eleven. Now, I want you to take those memories, nostalgia's kicking in. Nostalgia's kicking in. You take those moments, right? That 7-Eleven. And I want you to remember this 7-11. Because guess what? This Parsha, and I want you to go back and look at this. Look at this Parsha. It's Parsha Deuteronomy from chapter 7 to Parsha Deuteronomy chapter 11, isn't it? Look at it. Go look at the top if you don't see it up there. This is the 7-11 Parsha. 7-11. But even more importantly, when you feeling like at your lowest point, when you need a boost of encouragement, go back to the words of 7-11 for Moses. Moses gives you a 7-11. And I want you to remember this 7-11 as well. Just as I remember that 7-11 as a child. Going in there playing video games in that nice air conditioning, drinking on my Slurpee, having a good old time. They also had these big taffies. Man, my goodness, I used to like to chew on that taffy while I'm playing Pac-Man. Putting a number on it before you respond this day. They had a little Pac-Man arcade in there. And then they had Gallagher, what was it, Galaxy? My goodness, I sit there and play them things. It was a quarter. It was a quarter back in the day. Put a quarter in there. My goodness. Nostalgia, Mishpah, nostalgia. I remembered that just like it was yesterday. Just like Moses wants you to remember 7-11. I want you to go to Deuteronomy 7-11 when you get in those moments to where you seem to forget, to where you seem you want to stray. Go back and look at our history. Our history is rich as Hebrews. We have such a rich history. But it's not just a history for the past. It's a history for the present. And it's also a history for the future. Do you see it, Mishpah? You see the 7-11? You get in these moments, I want you to go to Deuteronomy 7-11. So you can remember our history. Remember the God that we serve. And what He's done for us and what He will continue to do for us. Go to the 7-11. You're like, well, Rabbi's telling me to go to the convenience store. No, I'm not telling you to go to the convenience store. I'm telling you to go to Moses', the store of Moses, the books of Moses. Go to this 7-11 and really begin to understand. And let's open it up so we can begin to see what's going on here in the 7-11. Moses is telling the children of Israel, do what you did to get here. Then keep doing it. But we all know, our history tells us, that the children of Israel didn't want to do that collectively. There was a few that did. But collectively, Israel didn't want to do that as one. So then we understand that we was booted out. But there's some things we want to look at because, again, if we want to look at the facts here, not no troops out here. The facts on the ground is, because I want to talk to you again about the salvation equation. That's been misunderstood as well. The salvation equation. You as children of Israel, where and who do you go to for salvation? Think about that. Oh, Rabbi Kefa, is this a trick question? No, YouTube, this is not a trick question. But we are stating the facts here. We are stating the facts. Factually, for you Bible believers out here, where do you go to for salvation? Think on that. And 7-11 will tell you, will give you the pattern of our history. When we did things wrong, and I know a lot of you you're thinking hard, you're like, Rabbi Kefa's giving us a trick question. This is not a trick question. This is just the facts. We want to know the facts today. How many of you in this room want the facts? I don't want no truth. I want the facts. I want the facts, Miss Baham. Give me the facts, Alex. Ya'el, woman of the 10, says the Torah. You know, I appreciate Ya'el, woman of the 10, your quick responses. But you men, you better step your game up. How come this woman here is responding more than the men? Men in this room, you need to step up. Well, Rabbi Kefa, I'm thinking. Well, you can respond and still think. But this woman is outshining you men in this room, and it shouldn't be that way. Step up, man. Come on, man. Step up. Be the man. Be the Hebrew man. Don't be the Gentile man, because the Gentile man, for the most part, is cowering behind. You don't have to be sorry for that, Ya'el, woman of 10. Because the majority of the Gentile men are cowering behind the apron of a woman. But you Hebrew men need to step up. Assume assume your role, your place. Yael, woman of the tent, is teaching you some things today. Patience. All of you want to be and who you are. You want to be all you can be within the confines of the Torah. The contracts were made with the men of Israel, not with the women. So the responses in this room should be coming from the men. Men should be stepping up. Well, Rabbi, I'm thinking about it. Take action on it. There's no wrong. These are just your opinions. So for what I'm gathering, so far in my lecture, for what I'm gathering is that the men in this room don't have opinions. Yet the women do. And we can go through. And you know what? Maybe that's instructional as well. Because I hear that a lot in the forums around here in San Antonio. Oh, women have so many opinions. And they state their opinions, which is a good thing. A woman does have a voice within the freedom of the Torah. Yet the man makes the final decision. See, now is the time not to institute duct tape method. Now is the time for you to let your opinions known, men. Don't be. What are you afraid of? Having an opinion and voicing that opinion? My goodness, nothing wrong with that. So what? You may be wrong. So what? So what? You may be at a different level of revelation. So what? No problem. But when we look at the salvation equation, I'm going to bring this question up again. As the people of the books, as the children of the books, as the children of this very Bible that majority of people have in their homes the world over, what is our salvation equation based on? Is it based on the Torah? Think about it. Now, let me give you a scenario here. Let's put the facts out there. Moses gives this scenario as well. Every time there was problems with the children of Israel where they were at angst with the God of Israel, the very God that they made the covenants with, What made everything right? I mean, think about it. Come on, we got to look at the patterns. The salvation equation is so misunderstood. It really is. It really is misunderstood. Some say salvation, for those listening via YouTube. Some say deliverance. Some say rescue. Where does that hinge on according to the Bible? Where do we go? Where's the go-to? What is the go-to? Think about that. That's serious business. Now, when we go back and study our rich history as Hebrews, as descendants of the Hebrews, I'm going to ask this question again, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm right here with you guys as well. Every time that Israel got into trouble, who got him out of the trouble? Did God get him out of trouble? Think that I can't get more elementary than that. Every time that Israel got in trouble in our history, who got him out of trouble? When we look at the Israel that came out of Egypt, J.B. Yasrael said Yahweh got him out of trouble. J.B. Yasrael, is that really true? Think about what you're saying. When Israel was in trouble, majority of the time, they was in trouble with Yahweh. Yahweh was angry with them. Yahweh didn't like what they did. You see? Think about it now. We got to put on our Hebrew hats here. When we talk about rescue, salvation, time and time again. That's what we got to state the facts here. The facts on the ground are this, and we're going to look at it in a minute. Moses is teaching us this. This is the pattern in our history. But my question is, why has it changed today? It seems like most folks are running away from salvation instead of running to it. And if it wasn't for a group of people, a small group of people, do you know Israel would have been annihilated? And a new Israel would have been started, because the God of Israel was just through. He was through with Israel. He was totally through with Israel. The salvation equation, many people get it wrong. And today, 2018, many people are running away from salvation, fact on the ground. Many people running from salvation thinking that they have truth in salvation. They have the truth, so they have salvation. Ooh-wee, isn't that heavy? But that's true. Many people don't have the revelation of salvation today. They don't have it. The salvation equation has just been erased and has been redrawn up. And the answer for the equation is always coming out wrong. I'm telling you, majority of the folks that are screaming salvation, that are screaming deliverance, that are screaming rescue, they all missing the boat. The equation, the formula's wrong, thus the answer's wrong. If we're going to go high school on it, we're going to go get in some geometry and some trigonometry or whatever, algebra. But what we want is the facts on the ground. And remember that statement that I read earlier, which holds true. Siding with the facts puts you at odds with those who are right. You see, because the right standard today is based on what? It's based on truth. It's already based on a shaky foundation at best. And I'm being politically correct when I say shaky. I could put another S word in there, but I won't do that because I want to be politically correct. But a lot of people's foundation are based at best on a shaky foundation. Why? It's because it's based on the truth. It's not based on the fact. Wow. Heavy stuff. But it's elementary stuff. Basic stuff that people, they miss it. And thus, when the storms come and the rains, man, their house is shaky. It's 50 miles where it was before, because the foundation didn't hold up, and the storms and the winds and the floods just took it and just moved it to a whole nother location. And then you have confused, discombobulated people running all over the place like chickens with their heads cut off. This is what you get within the so-called confines of the Torah that they say they love and they uphold and they embrace and all this other stuff. They give you this mumbo-jumbo, blah, 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 blah. But I would encourage you all not to forget YouTube, not to forget 7-11. Deuteronomy 7 and 11, chapters 7 through 11. You go back and you read this Parsha. My goodness. It will really put you in the right frame of mind and where you need to be. Let's open it up. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 12. Therefore shall come to pass, if you listen to my voice, to these judgments, and guard and do them, that Yahweh your power shall guard you into the covenant and unmerited favor which he swore to your uncle, to your fathers. That's a heavy verse within itself. This is where most people are missing it right here. Therefore it shall come to pass, if you listen to my voice, to these judgments. Alright, the voice, you see, here we go. Again, with this voice. Oh, I heard the voice of God. The voice of God talks to me. I'm taught by God. God teaches me. That's a bunch of pig water. Pig water, Mishpah. Facts on the ground, because I only want the facts, YouTube. Who is the voice of God? Think about it. Who is the voice of God? J.B. Yashrael says the Kohanim. Let's be more specific. Who is the voice of God? But the sons of Aaron, right? Moses was the voice of God. But then, Moses is giving last words. Who is the ear? Who is the voice of God? But the sons of Aaron. The voice of God. Many people claim to hear the voice of God, blah, 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 blah. The voice of God is a lecture within itself. A simple one. Because when you begin to state the facts, when you begin to put the facts into play, fiction will run away, so will these truths. They will all run away. This is why the evidence of what was told to me today is so very true. I've seen it happen in this very forum. Is that the evidence of siding with the facts puts you at odds with those who are right. And then you're going to be called every name under the sun. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 13 goes on to say, and he will love you and bless you and multiply you, and he will also bless you with many children and the fruit of the land, your wheat and your wine and your oil, the offspring of your oxen and the flocks of your sheep, and the land which he swore to your oaths, your fathers, to give you. Verse 14, and you shall be blessed above all people. Woo-wee. And you shall be blessed above all people. Yet today, the truth today is that many people, and how many of you heard this? For many people who claim to be under the Torah, that they under a curse. How many of you heard that? They saying it all on YouTube. You YouTubers, that's the truth that's going out there. The truth is they're telling you, oh, you under a curse. Well, that's counter to what Torah tells me, because I want the facts. The facts are this. What are the facts? What does the Torah say? You shall be blessed above all people. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. You shall be blessed above all people. Wow. What a concept. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. You shall be blessed above all people. That's a lecture above all people. That's a lecture within itself. You see, these are the physical presentations, the physical manifestations of a spiritual principle, but also of a physical covenant. Wow. This is when Torah becomes real. I want the realness of the Torah, and I have it. I'm living it. This is when the mere lip service of the oath becomes real and physical, and Torah becomes your lifestyle, your way of life. Woo-wee. Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus. This is the real deal here. You see, what you have before you in the son of Aaron, you're dealing with the real deal, Mishpah. And many people can't handle that. Many people can't handle fact. I'm giving you facts today, right from the books of Moses, that every Christian has in their home. Most Catholics have it as well. And these other denominations, they have it. The facts. But they and you leave them to it. They like to take the facts and water it down and make it truth to fit their particular agenda, and we leave them people to it. But my concern today is for those that consider themselves under the confines of the Torah. That's my concern. These are the other folks, if they get revelation, Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus of Nazareth. If they don't, Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus of Nazareth. That's just what it is. But for those of you who say you have revelation, you say you have understanding, you say you love God, the God of Israel said he loves you, but you say you love God. Oh, we're going to get in that in a minute as well. You shall be blessed above all people. Remember, always go back to 7-11. You having issues with your Torah? Go back to what Moshe said in Deuteronomy chapter 7 through 11. 7-11, baby. 7-11. Don't forget it. Remember, because this is what Moses was telling them. Remember, children of Israel, because you don't know, you wasn't there. The generation before you was there, they mucked it up. They did some good things, but they also did some bad things. You shall be blessed above all people. Wow. How many of you are living that today? You right now can say, I'm the physical manifestation and presentation of that Torah, those words in the Torah right there. I'm blessed above all people. I'm going to put a 1 to that one. I'll put my 1 in there. Ain't no shame in my game. I'll put my 1 up, Mishpah. Because that stuff is real, man. I look every morning, I turn over in the bed, look at my wife and say, man, I am blessed above all peoples. That blessing, that's real. And believe it, by the way, that blessing didn't come from the God of Israel. That blessing came from the son of Aaron. And I look at my wife every day during the day, I just look at her and say, man, I'm truly blessed. And I know not many people can say that. And I humbly, I'm telling you this humbly, because I'm not trying to get on nobody's high horse. I'm trying to say, I'm humble and meek. And I'll let the God of Israel raise me up. Because that's what happens. When you become humble and meek, the God of Israel is going to raise you up. That's what happens. So, you give me another hefty dose, 7-course meal of humble and meekness, Abba, and you'll see the God of Israel will raise you. It just that's the formula for you mathematicians. But humble and meekness comes at a price. And for some it's shock and awe, because you're not used to that. You're not used to that humble and meekness. You're used to that high and haughty. And you need to be, you have to be kicked down a few notches. You have to fall up under the sons of Aaron. That's first steps. Well, I'm under, but yeah, you fall up under, but then you have to begin to obey. Moses is telling us the same thing here. If you listen to my voice, you have to listen to the sons of Aaron. Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel. Many of you still waiting to hear from God, but the sons of Aaron has been speaking and been on these shores for years. And yet you wonder why your life is just still a shell of itself. It's because you haven't listened to the voice to the voice of God, the God of Israel. You haven't listened. And so you still stumble and fumble. And you're a chicken with your head cut off. You're just stumbling and fumbling all over the place. And I don't mean that literally. But Rabbi Kefa said, I'm a chicken with no head. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Deuteronomy 7 and 14. My goodness. You shall be blessed above all people. I'm truly living that. And I humbly say that to you. Not to get haughty. You don't have to be like the Christian women love to do that here in San Antonio. Especially the ones that go to Hagee's church. Ooh, child, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yeah, that's good to say. But is it manifested? Is blessings manifested in your life? That's where you see the difference. Now, let's go to verse 15, which is heavy. We're going to go to verse 15, is heavy. Very, very heavy. Listen to what it says in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 15. Again, we read from the Hidden, we break scrolls. If you don't have these scrolls, please get them. They'll really help you in your studies. Add them to your library. You can purchase them on Amazon, YouTube. You can get them on Amazon.com. The Hidden Truth He-Breaks Scrolls. Sometimes I talk kind of fast. I'm going to slow it down. The Hidden Truth He-Breaks Scrolls. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 15. And Yahweh will take away from you all sicknesses and will put none of the evil diseases of Mitzrayim of Egypt, which you knew about, but will lay them upon all them that hate you. Woo-wee. This is heavy. HaKohen, son of Aaron, he talked about this a little bit last Shabbat in his lecture, when he talked about the diseases of Egypt. it becomes heavy. And the Master Yeshua, Master Jesus of Nazareth, he talked about this as well. And we're going to read on. We're going to go to the, to the New Testament as well, the New Covenants as well in a minute. But I want you to look at what Torah's saying here. And believe me, this is one of the great reasons why we need to be showing mercy and loving those that don't love us, Mishpahah, and being merciful to all people. It's because look at what the Torah tells us here. That Yahweh will take away from you all sickness and will put none of the evil diseases of Mitzrayim, which you knew about, but will lay them upon all them that hate you. How many of you in this room right now, maybe listening to the MP3, you know somebody that you don't have to, they literally hate you? How many of you know that? And you know this because they told you they hate you. Anybody? Put up a capital H if that's you. You know somebody. They came to you and they told you, I hate you. I don't like what you stand for. I don't like you for whatever reason. How many of you know somebody right now that you know that hates you? They hate you. You haven't done these people anything wrong whatsoever. Matter of fact, you've been quite good and gracious to them. And you've been showing them mercy. And you know somebody right now that literally hates you. And they told you. You don't have to speculate. They literally came out and said, look, I hate you. Well, I know people just like that. I know some people they hate me. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything. I haven't talked about their mama. I haven't done anything wrong to these people. Yet they hate me. Haters. They drinking from the haterade. See, these are the people, my goodness. Now we get to the meat and potatoes of the Torah. Because you see, here's where you grow in character, and proper character. And you run into people like this all the time. We run into folks like this from time to time. They phone into us. And from time to time, we run into folks like this claiming to claiming to be of God and love God, but hates the next man to him. And when we get to the haterade, the fact is we are told to love our neighbor. That's the facts, right? Isn't that the fact that we're told to love our neighbor? Is that not factual, Ms. Bahar? I don't want to be saying things. I don't want to give you no truths out here. I want to give you the facts. Are we not told, even the Master Yeshua, the Master Jesus of Nazareth, he told us to love our neighbors, right? Or did he tell us just to, again, stay out of the haterade camp. Stay out of that club. Because what you learn right here in Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 15 is that hate has a heavy weight. Listen to what I just said. Hate has a heavy weight to it. Because what does the Torah tell us? Torah tells us that in Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 15 that Yahweh, he will take away from you all the sicknesses and put none of the evil diseases of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, which you knew about, but will lay them upon all those that hate you. You see the heavy weight of the hate? Hate has a heavy weight to it. Now, could we go as far as to say is that the people in the world that hate, could we go as far as to say this? The people in the world that have a character makeup of just hating. You could be hating because of color. You could be hating because of creed. You could be hating because of hairstyle. You could be hating because of social economic status. Yeah, many reasons you could be hating because of a religion. You could be hating because of a relationship. There's many reasons to hate. But could we go as far as to say? Is that hatred health problems. Could we go as far as to say that? In some instances, if you harbor any kind of form of hate, for whatever rhyme or reason, could we say that that festers bad health conditions? Wow, think about that. Think about that. Shabbat Shalom to you, Sayyid Muhammad. Well, Rabbi Kefa, are you saying that everybody that's sick is because they hate? I'm not saying everybody lottie-dottie. But I am saying, I'll go out and say this, is that I think for a lot of people it plays a key role. Hatred. It festers bad health conditions. It can't fester anything good. Most of the people that I know that, have these like heart conditions and stuff, you know what the number one, what I see in a lot of these people is that they have anger management issues. They're very angry. And they're fiery. You at a spark, my goodness, they'll go off and they'll start their, wild tangents. And they'll turn red in the face or they turn purple. They want to just, all this, these are the ones with high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? But it's the peaceful people, the ones that, they're not riled, they're not swayed by, whatever situation may come their way. They could just be told they have cancer, and yet they're so peaceful. They could be told that, something severe has happened in their life, yet they're still so peaceful. You see? These are some of the character traits that we need to look at. So, again, this hatred factor. And I know a lot of you, especially here in the West, you've been conditioned to hate. Sometimes it's based on color, hairstyle, socioeconomic status, color of your skin. You've been conditioned to hate. And these things need to be removed from you. These things are bad characteristics that need to be removed. You're hating based on what someone did to you. And you're harboring that hate. You need to let that stuff go, man. Literally. Politics as well festers hate. Hakoyim sort of early talked about this in his last lecture. How you gotta watch with these channels, because before you know it, you find yourself right in that hate camp, in that hate group. And you start to think just the way they think. And remember, he talked about songs as well. You'll be singing these songs, and these songs, they have bad connotation to them. These words are not productive words, but they're actually words to tear you down and cause destruction. And to be slandering someone here or there. You have to be careful. We even more importantly, as the disciples of Moses, of Musa, we take these words and we actually begin to apply them into our lives and into our lifestyle, how we live. You see, because you're in this room not for a religion, you're in this room because this is a way of life. This is the way we live, our livelihood. This is how we're supposed to go out and live that as we go out these 6 days of labor and work and do the necessaries and be productive citizens in these nations that we've been put in. Be productive and not protesters. We're going to be productive and do great things and to help raise these nations up. This is what's important. Because at the end of the day, we all going to have to bow before the Creator. And we all going to have to stand and be held accountable. And I want my accountability to be based on fact, not fiction, and not these false truths out here. I want it to be based on fact, according to what God said according to God, not what God said according to man. I'm not going to give you my opinions. I'm going to give you the facts of what we see in our Torah, the facts that we see in the first 5 books. The facts on the ground is that, you don't want to be in the hate camp because hate gets the diseases of Egypt placed upon them. Hate draws these diseases like a magnet. Let's go and look at what the Rabbi Yeshua, the Master Jesus, the Master Yeshua said about this. Let's go and look at it. Now, I'm going to pull from Mark, and we're going to pull from Luke. Mark and Luke. Words of the Master. Well, let's go to Luke chapter 12. Luke chapter 12, look at verse 28. I'll read it. You don't have to go there if you don't want. But mark it. And one of the experts of the Torah came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceived that he had answered them well, and asked him, what is the first commandment of all? Experts of the Torah. What is the first commandment of all? Look at verse 29 of Mark chapter 12. And Yeshua answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, Shema Yisrael. Yahweh our supreme one, Yahweh is Chad, one in unity. Look at verse 30. And you shall love Yahweh your power with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind, and with all of your strength. This is the first commandment. Wow. We'll come back to this in a minute, but look, let's finish up with verse 31, because it even gets more juicier. Then the Master Yeshua, Master Jesus of Nazareth, he goes on to say this in Mark chapter 12, verse 31. And the second is like it. Oh, here we go. Here's that parallel that we always teach here. You know, that parallel. We got the vertical with the creator of the heavens and the universes that breathe into all our nostrils, and then we have that parallel side. Here's that parallel. The Master gives the parallel. Great revelation here. The second is like it, namely this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. Wow. It's to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Doesn't say, well, if my neighbor makes X amount of dollars, or if my neighbor has dreadlocks and straight hair, if my neighbor has nappy hair, or if my neighbor is of brown skin tone or black skin tone. It doesn't say that. Oh, if my neighbor is white, or if my neighbor says bad things about me or says good things. It doesn't say all that. The Master Jesus of Nazareth, the Master Yeshua, is laying it all on the line. He talk about love. Well, let's go right back to what Moshe here says about love. Talks about love. Moshe tells us this, and back up in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 12. Therefore shall come to pass, if you will listen to my voice, to these judgments, to guard and to do them, that Yahweh your power shall guard you into the covenant and unmerited favor which he has sworn to your avos. Verse 13, and he will love you. Wow. What is love synonymous and associated with? It's back up to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 12. Love is connected to listening to the voice. Wow. Not just anybody's voice, but listening to the voice of God. How many of you hear from God? I don't. But I hear from the sons of Aaron every day, practically, in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's hearing from the sons of Aaron that has really, truly blessed my life and taken my life to heights I'd never imagined. Still going, and still going higher, to the Shemayim, to the dwelling of, not to the dwelling of majesty, I'm not even trying to go there, but I'm going up to the Shemayim, to the heavens. This is physical evidence, physical presentation, manifestation on the ground. So very important to understand that. So very important. The voice of God. For the Hebrew, for the descendants of the Hebrews, for the Jew, for the Israelite, for the Hebrew Israelite, whatever name you give me, Torah, yoker of the Torah embracer. It's the key, the clue is you got to get that voice of God. If you want to obey God, you got to hear his voice. That's love. Love is obedience. Love is listening. Shema Yisrael. And we're told that we're to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. The same. First we're to love the God of Israel with all of our heart, our strength, our soul, our very being. That comes with obedience and listening. Shema Yisrael. Then, the second is to the like. That's that parallel and vertical relationship that we talk about. How are you going to sit here and fool yourself and say, oh, I love God, but you hate your husband? Oh, my goodness. The Master Jesus is telling you the second is same to the like. You can't say you love God, but you have trouble with your neighbor. And last time I checked, your husband and your wife, that's the closest neighbor you're going to get. Besides, the Joneses that live across the street and Harry next door. Every name is the Joneses and Harry, no offense. Just trying to make a point here. Do you see the point, Mishpahah? We've been teaching about the vertical and parallel relationships. Meaning you want a vertical relationship with the Creator, but your parallel relationship with your neighbors, let's face it and be frank, they suck. You can't get on with your neighbor. Yet you say you love God. I don't get that. Let's put the facts out there. You're running with all of these little truths out here, and they're failing you, and they're stumbling blocks in your way from serving the Creator that breathes into your nostrils. You don't have trouble with your neighbor. You have trouble with your husband. You have trouble with your wife. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you think you love God? Yeah, you calling your husband and your wife all kind of names outside of the book. You don't give two hoops. My goodness, I tell you. I literally have heaven on earth with this wife that I have from the East. Because I was told by the voice of God to go take a wife from China, and I did. And now, it's heaven on earth, Mishpahah. I don't have to ask for water. The water's already there. I don't have to ask for watermelon. The watermelon's already there, just the way I like it. I don't have to ask for eggs. My daughter's already in there making me eggs. Not on the Shabbat, of course. She attempted to do it this morning, but I had to remind her that the sun was already up. She was about 10 minutes late. Sun came up at 6:56 here in San Antonio, Texas. You just think about that. My daughter's already... I didn't have to ask for the eggs. She's making me eggs. Already knows what I like, and is doing it. She don't have to tell me she loves me. She shows me. It's in what we do, not so much what we say. Now, of course, I did ask my wife this other night, and I'm pretty sure the majority of the women in this room will probably say the same thing, and I would like your response. Do you like to be told that you're loved? Women in the room, do you like to be told that you're loved with lip service? How many women in the room like that? Please let me know, because I need to make sure that this survey is right. Do you like to be told that you're loved? Women in the room. Response from the women. Do you like to be told you're loved? Do you like a man to tell you, I love you? Let me put it to you that way, plain and simple. Women in the room, I like your response. Do you like to be told by a man that honey, Hunzy Bunzy, sugar plum, apple dumpling, cheesecake with topping on top, I love you? Women in the room, do you like? And for those of you listening via MP3, listening via YouTube, so far we had about 5 responses of women that said, yes, I like to hear, I love you. Of course, I think most women would like to hear that. But what's more important for the man is that they follow up that lip service with right action. That's what's more important. As the women in the room are saying, actions speak louder than words. Yes, but don't you like to hear the words? You see, the words will manifest the action, hopefully. Or is it the action will manifest the words? Which way is it? Is it the chicken or the egg come first? Think about it. You see? Is it the chicken or the egg come first? And I think in every situation, I think both apply. Both can apply. Because let's face it, let's give you a scenario. If you're already sick and you want healing, what do you say? You say, I'm healed. But yet you're already sick though. But you begin to speak, you're healing. I'm healed. I'm going to be healed. I'm going to do these things and I'll be healed of this particular ailment. I will be healed. So you'll begin to speak things into existence. just like our Ab. With our 22 characters, he spoke things into existence, and they became. Like be, like was. Hallelujah. And that's some good stuff. Like be, like was. Now, it don't get any better than that. So we too, at our level, must begin to do those same things. You want to be young? Say that you're young. But then begin to do the necessaries to be young. Exercise. Buy those products that will help you, stay young. And believe it or not, people will even begin to call you young. That's real. I'm seeing it. That's real. That stuff really works. But you must begin to do these kind of things. I think these things are so important to understand. The fundamentals of the Torah is what many people lack today. Yet they want all of these deeper understandings. But yet you hate. You harbor hate within you. That is truly not a characteristic of a follower of the way. That's not a characteristic. If you harbor hate, you're in the wrong category. And those that are telling you that they hate you, and they might not come out and tell you, but you see it in their actions. How many of you more so see people that hate you just by their actions? They don't have to tell you they hate you. They could be in a three-piece suit, smelling like, Ralph Lauren, but their actions, they blatantly tell you they hate you. And if looks could kill, you'd have been dead a long time ago. Oh, absolutely. That happens that way. But we're told to do what? Let's go even further. We're going to take it to what the Master says. Master Jesus of Nazareth, Master Yeshua. What does he say about this? The greatest commandment. Learn from this. A lot of you want this vertical relationship with the God of Israel, yet your parallel relationship with humanity sucks because of somebody's religion, because of what somebody wears, because of the color of somebody's skin. At the end of the day, we are creations of the Creator. I could care less what you call his name. I could care less. Because you're showing your love of the Creator by your obedience to what the Creator's voice said. And we've been given instruction books. The whole world has been given the instructions to follow. Now, many have taken the instructions and have added and taken away and have changed and only taken some things out and want to keep this and want to leave that, blah, 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 blah. But if you truly love someone, you're going to listen to every and hinge and listen to every word that person says, right? Let's for a minute, we got to keep it parallel here. We're going to keep it parallel. If a woman tells you that they love you, yet you tell that woman, listen women, this is key. You want to have a happy home? This is how you do it. You listen to your husband. That's the key. You want to have a happy home, listen to your husband. Now your selection of husband, and that plays a role too. You got to get a good husband. When you get that great husband, that awesome husband, then you listen to him. You get that God-fearing man, then you listen to that man. Your every word needs to hinge on what that man says. See, you can't run around here saying, I don't want to listen to my husband, but I love God. Then you know what? You have failed. You have failed the test. You must listen to your husband as your husband listens to God. Your husband, women, and I hope this is not a shocker for you YouTubers, your husband is your God. Women. For those of you who claim to be under the umbrella of the Torah, I'm going to tell you, let me give you the facts. Your husband is your God. You better listen to your husband. Listen to the voice. Women, don't come to me saying, well, I'm going to listen to the voice of God. God is telling you, you better listen to the voice of your husband. He is your God. I know that may be hard for some of you to swallow, but this is the facts. Many of you going to run away from this, and so be it. But I'm going to state you the facts. Your husband is your God. Women, you listen to him. You listen, I'm telling you, you may not like what he says, but you better listen to him. That's going to benefit you. Believe me, it will. Now, your selection, see, this is why it's so important that you select the right man for yourself. Nobody wants to be following and listening to the village idiot, right? Then don't marry the village idiot, women. Don't marry the village idiot. You see, a lot of time we put ourselves in these situations, then we start to blame God for your selection of a man. God didn't select that man for you. And for those of you wandering around here waiting on God to select you a man or select you a woman, you're fooling yourself as well. You better go out and get that man and go out and get that woman. Well, Rabbi, I'm waiting on God to bring the man to me. God is not going to bring the man to you. He's not going to show up in a drone from Amazon. That's not happening. That's not real world. You guys need to face reality. When you were that Christian out there, when you were that Catholic out there, God didn't select you that first husband, that first wife. What did you do? You probably met her at the bar, you met her at the club, you met her at Walmart. So what do you think is going to change now? You see, parallel. We have to learn to get on parallel. You all want this vertical relationship with God, but your relationship parallel suck. They subpar. They're just downright nasty, and they just ugly. But yet, oh, I love God. Are you kidding me? The Rabbi Yeshua of Nazareth, Rabbi Jesus of Nazareth, he's telling you. The so-called experts of the Torah, they come to him and say, well, what is the first commandment? It's to love God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your soul. Well, what? How do you love God? The same way you need to ask yourself, how do I love my husband? How do I love my wife? Well, Adam will give you the pattern for the men, not to follow. Because Torah tells us that Adam, what was his downfall? Is that he listened to the voice of his wife. Isn't that what Torah tells us? Because you listen to your wife, you get excommunicated from the garden. You see, I'm taking you back to the patterns of Torah here. Did God speak to the wife, or did God speak to the man? You see, this is where I'm going. This is why I'm telling you, women, your husband is your God. You got to listen to your husband as he listens to God. You see, but it came all out of whack. You see, that's how Adam and his families were excommunicated from the garden. How many of you want to be excommunicated from the world to come? How many of you want to be excommunicated from the promised land? Nobody wants that. Pray tell. Y'all forbid. Then we must look at the facts. We must look at the facts. We must look at the facts. Even more importantly, we must look at our rich history as Hebrews, and we must begin to apply those facts in our lives. Remember, Moses is getting ready to die, and he's explaining to the children of Israel what your children of Israel did good and what your children of Israel did not so good. And he's giving them another great history lesson. Why? It's because we must always remember. Unfortunately, the things that we remember, which have been cleaned up, by the way, the things that we remember were not factual. But if you have the Hidden Truth We Break Scrolls and Muhammad, I would encourage you to go purchase this Bible, the Hidden Truth We Break Scrolls. It will really help you understand what the Creator of the heavens and the universe meant for his humanity that he created. And you can purchase them on Amazon. You get this Bible. It'll really add it to your library for your studies. It'll really help you tremendously. understand what the Creator, what God said according to God, not what God said according to man, really will help you. Listening to the voice. This is why women, I know, you've all made some bad mistakes. We all have, no problem. But the bad mistakes were great learning experiences. Well, you say, Rabbi, I had that bad husband. Well, now you know what bad is, so now you appreciate a good one, right? And you men are saying the same thing. Rabbi, that woman, I've been trying, and that woman, I never want a woman like that again. Okay, good. Now you see this bad woman, now you appreciate this good woman that you're going to get, and you're going to be just like me, screaming heaven on earth. Heaven on this earth, man. Because you had the bad woman. But don't say, well, Rabbi, because I had this bad woman, I'm never married again. Ooh, y'all forbid. Now you're messing with your blessings. Because the God of Israel want to multiply you. And you can't multiply and meet the criteria of the covenants if you just one. One can't multiply. Can anybody tell me what 1 times 1? Anybody? You mathematicians in the room? What's 1 times 1? 1 times 1, it will leave you with just 1. Come on, Mr. Paha. How you multiplying from 1? So quit all this mumbo jumbo and foolishness. And quit speaking this badness into existence. Oh, I'm never marrying again, Rabbi. Don't you say that. 1 will get you nowhere. Hear, O Israel, Deborah says, I'm getting married again. Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus, Deborah. Now, this man can be a complete man. Because I'm going to tell you, this is so true. This is so true. Man, this is the facts on the ground. A man is not a man until he marries a woman. A man is not a man until he marries a woman. That's real. You're not a complete man. You're a shell of yourself. Oh, Rabbi, that's not good to say. I'm not here to say feel good things. I'm here to give you the facts. You're not a man until you marry. You're just not a man. You may be half a man, 3/4 of a man, 2/8 of a man, but you're not a man, not complete until you marry. Until you marry, and then you not just marry anybody, but you make that connection with a loyal wife and with that loving husband. You see. Because we're not intended, our books tell us we're not intended to be alone. Nobody's intended to live alone. That's not God's intent. Man made that up. You know what I mean? Man came up with that. Oh yeah, you be by yourself, do by yourself, live by yourself, be self, take care of self. No, that's not God's intent. That's not God's intent. We have to get back to what God said according to God. Quit running after these truths out here. That means nothing. What are the facts? Give me the facts, man, please. When I'm held accountable, I want my accountability to be based on the facts. Not these false truths out here. Or truths in themselves. Let's continue on. So Rabbi Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, he goes on to talk about who are we to love? Just those that love us? We're told the greatest commandment in Mark chapter 12 verse 30 is to love Yahweh your power with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your mind, and with all of your strength. This is the first commandment. Second commandment is like this. That's that parallel vertical thing. Is that you love your neighbor as you love yourself. There's no greater commandment than these. This is the basics, yet many people stumble and fumble. But then we're going to go to Luke. We're going to go to the book of Luke. The great Luke. Luke chapter 6, starting at verse 27. But I say to you which hear, listen to what the Master says. But I say to you which hear, love your enemies. Wow. You see, now we're elaborating on it. We don't just love those who love us. We love our enemies. How many of you in this room know right now you have some enemies? And some of you may be sleeping with the enemy. You're to love your enemies. Wow. You're to love your enemies. You're to love your enemies. Let's go even further. Luke chapter 6, verse 27. But I say to you which hear, love your enemies. Do good to them who hate you. Ooh-wee. The haters, those that drink in their haterade, do good to them. You know what my grandma used to call this? Killing them with kindness. You kill them with kindness. Do good to those that hate you, not just those that love you. Look at Luke chapter 6, verse 28. Speak well of them that curse you. I know some people that's been cursed out this week. but speak well to them that curse you. You know, my ex-wife, she used to love to throw out some verbal assaults, right? And then, you know what would even, burn up her Bunsen burner? Is when I wouldn't match her verbal assaults. And I would just, I would just say, okay, yeah, whatever you think. And so then the verbal assault would even get worse. And I'm a punk, and I'm all this, and I'm no man because I don't do this, because I don't, beat you around, or because I don't match your assault with my assault. I don't do that. That made it even worse. So when I kept the peace, I kept the shalom, my goodness. Then she would just amp it up a few more notches, and a few more notches, and a few more notches, to where, you just leave the situation. You see? You have to get away from the situation. Kill them with kindness. You see? Do good to them that hate you. Speak well of them that curse you, and petition for them which despitefully use you. Oh my goodness. You know why we have to petition? You know why the Master said this? Because he already remembered what he told Moses way back when. He said, don't worry about it. Those that hate you, remember we just read it. All the curses of Egypt will be placed on who? The haters, right? So man, my goodness, do they need some prayers? My goodness, are they going to need some prayers, right? And then in Luke, the Master goes on to elaborate down in Luke chapter 6, starting at verse 35. But love your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again. I've seen this in the son of Aaron. He's talking about this. Is when you lend, hoping for nothing again. Because believe me, I've seen that experiment live and in living color with Hakohi. My goodness, son of Aaron, he'll lend, and he used to teach me this, and I'll never forget it. When you lend, Kefa, don't expect it back. And believe me, with Africa, I can tell you we lent. Hakohi, what's our record of getting money back when we lent to Africa? I think our record is probably pretty 100%. We didn't get anything back. I mean, 100% for those African lovers out there. You lend and you lend, not expecting anything back. Why? Because look at what the Master teaches us here. Not expecting anything back. And look what the Master says. Your reward shall be great. We read from Luke chapter 6, verse 35. And you shall be children of the highest. King James even reads it like this. How many of you want to be children of the highest? You shall be children of the highest. For he is kind to, listen to this. Listen to what the Master, Jesus of Nazareth says. The Master Yeshua. For he is kind to the unthankful and to the evil. Wow. He is kind to the unthankful and to the evil. So if the alb is like this to the unthankful and the evil, how much more so should we be to our neighbor who is unthankful and evil to us at times? How much more so? How much more so? You see, we're talking about meat and potato stuff here, about humanity, how you're supposed to live, and the characteristic that you need to have within yourself. To show that you are children of the highest. It's not just by lip service and you sit behind a keyboard and being a keyboard warrior. No, you know how you are children of the highest? It's about you showing kindness, showing love, showing compassion to those that are unthankful, to those that are evil. And the Master Yeshua, the Master Jesus of Nazareth, goes even further in Luke chapter 6, verse 36, and he says this, "Be you therefore merciful, as your Ab is also merciful." You see, we talk about that parallel vertical thing. Many people want a relationship with God vertically, yet their relationship parallel with humanity sucks. And yet they think, for some reason, they're hoodwinked and they're bamboozled into thinking they're going to have this awesome relationship with God in the heavens. They're fooling themselves. They're fooling themselves. Why? Because just like the Master's telling us in Luke chapter 6, starting verse 27, you see, love your enemies, do good to them that hate you, speak well of them that curse you, and petition for them who despitefully use you. This is basics. These are the basics that you all need to instill within yourselves and build on this and grow and begin to nurture these kind of characteristics. Hate camp, no time for it. Any other agenda but serving the God of Israel, then everything else is commentary. The Torah, the laws of Moses, the first 5 books of Moses are king. Every other thing out there is a lie. The Master, Yeshua, the Master, Jesus of Nazareth, goes on to say in Luke chapter 6, verse 37, "Judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven." Do you see this? Look at verse 38. "Give," and Akoin was talking about this in his lecture. "Give, and it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Shall men give it to your bosoms." For listen to this. For which the same measure that you measure, it shall be measured to you again. Oh, man. This is right out of the books of Moses. Right out of our Torah. This is our history, our way of life. Our very lifestyle that we should be embracing. This is what's important. Very, very important for you all to understand. For those of you that hear, you will understand. And those of you who don't get it, it's just maybe not time for you to have the revelation. But you have to be in the right mindset. I firmly believe you have to have the right characteristics. Hey, all this texting, you're going to tone that down. This is not, if you want to fall off for texting, you guys can go somewhere else and do all this little texting back and forth. This is not, no keyboard warriors here. You're here to learn about the Torah. Respect that. Honor that. If not, then you guys can go somewhere. There's no need for all of this foolishness. You're here to learn the Torah. You're here to learn about the God of Israel. If not, then you can move on. So there's no need for all this back and forth. If you're not here to listen to the Torah and learn something so you can go out and apply it in your lives and make this world a better place, then there's no need for it. There's no need for all of this mumbo jumbo. This is no game to us here in this room. This is our lifestyle. This is how we live. It's our very livelihood. All of this ripping and running and ranting, no need. You go do that somewhere else. Have a respect for the Creator and His words. If not, go somewhere else. Goodness. Everybody wants a forum. You can go open up your own room. My goodness. All of this mumbo jumbo. No need for it. Because here, this is Israel here. This is Israel. We have to guard and protect this Torah. If we don't do it, who else is going to do it? We're not going to have people coming here trampling on Torah, just disrespecting the God of Israel, disrespecting the words of Moses, disrespecting disrespecting our contracts, our government, our way of life. There's no need for that. Now, if you want that other form, then please go somewhere else. But just have a high respect for the Creator. Because what you put in is what you're going to get out. How you respect the Creator is what respect you're going to get from the Creator. That's just at the end of the day. We just read that from the Master, Yeshua, the Master Jesus of Nazareth. So let's have a respect and quit all of this foolishness. For those of you who are listening via YouTube, this is one of the things that you see, when Torah becomes your very livelihood and your very makeup, you really honor and cherish it. And you're like the bald-headed man that gets a cold. You will never part from that Torah. You'll never be able to part. And it'll become a very part of the way you live, your livelihood. This is our rich history that we forgotten about, but now it's coming back to our remembrance. Baruch Hashem, Master Yahweh, Baruch Hashem, Master Jesus, for this opportunity. And if you're here, you're not here by happenstance. But some folks come through here with another agenda to cause confusion and disruption. There's no time for all of that. There's no time. I know all of you value your time. We have a short time here on this earth. Utilize your time on this earth to make a difference and to give honor and praise and esteem the very Creator that breathed into your nostrils. If you have any other agenda besides that and for selfish desires, go somewhere else. There's no need. There's no need for that. Someone must stand up for the Torah, and that has to be us. Everyone else go. Please go. I'm encouraging you to move out. I don't want to be rude. I'm not trying to shame anyone. That's not my agenda. But I will respect and I will guard this Torah with my very life. Because Torah is my life. Torah's king in my life. These books are not just mere words to me. It's my very livelihood. It's how I live. And how I want to improve and be a better citizen and productive husband, productive father, productive taxpayer in my country. And do great things and leave a legacy behind that we will be found pleasing in the eyes of the Most Highest. Just like we read. What kind of characteristics do I need so that I can be called children of the highest? Luke chapter 6 verse 35. You know what kind of characteristics I need? Love your enemies, do good and lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and you shall be the children of the highest. For he is kind to the unthankful and to the evil. So I'm being kind to all of you who are unthankful, disrespectful, evil towards the God of Israel, towards the Torah of Moses. I'm going to be kind to you. I'm telling you kindly, please. If this is not a forum for you to sit and listen and learn so you can go out and do and apply and be a practitioner, then please leave. But this is not this is not a chat room. You don't come in here, chit-a-chat like some baby chickens. This is not that kind of forum. We have a bigger agenda here. Like they say, we have bigger fish to fry. Okay? We have bigger fish to fry. And so this is what we look at as the children of the books. As descendants of Abraham. We have a bigger role to play. And I would encourage you all to really examine and look at our role. And begin to look at your character makeup and see if it fits the bill. See if it lines up with you showing love to your neighbor. That's a whole lecture in itself. It's showing love to your neighbor. Your neighbors, those that speak against you, those that don't like you, those that do love you. Those that hate you for whatever rhyme or reason. This is the demonstration of light to these nations. It takes a lot, and how many of you know what I'm talking about? It takes a lot to go against the grain. You see, because, in a lot of these nations, we already been profiled to act a certain way. How many of you know in a lot of these nations, we already been profiled to act a certain way. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Even the police here in the United States of America, they profile you based on your color. That you're gonna do. They have you an algorithm that because you're this, you're gonna do this, this, and this. Oh, because you're a black man, you have a gun, right? Isn't that what they tell you? You have a gun, and when we pull you over, you're gonna run, and then we're gonna shoot you in the back, and then you see. So this is they profile you being a certain way. So again, we have to break this mold of this profile and show them the true profile, the factual profile of the children of the books. I tell you, here in San Antonio, I've had great interaction with the policemen here. They love to see me because I'm an anomaly to them. Like, what the heck? They roll up on me and they look. I'm like, good day, officer. How you doing today, sir? How can I help you? What do you need? Yes, sure, officer. You need me to get out of the car? No problems, officer. You guys are doing a great job. I appreciate what you're doing. If there's any way I can assist and help, I'm more than willing. I'm fully cooperating. And I break that mold. And they're like, wow. Well, you were profiled to be this man that was going to be, not cooperative, combative, this, that. No, you're just the opposite. You're very friendly. You're a very peaceful man. You're cooperative. I strike up a good conversation with them. It just, again, we're just set. Don't put us in a profile. Children of Israel, we don't fit a profile. We're children of the contract. We're children of the covenants. Our character should match. Not profiling us, but let them see your character. That's your life. All these people that hate you. All these people that claim. I'm not talking about Gentiles, by the way. I'm talking about those that say they're within the confines of the Torah. But as you improve your character begins to meet that of the Torah. My goodness. You're better off to the whole world. You're not just a certain people, but to the whole world. Light doesn't discriminate. Does it? Does light just? The sun is shining right here in San Antonio. Does the sun just shine on the just, or does the sun shine on the unjust as well? When it rains, Mr. Baha, does it rain just on the just, or does it rain on the unjust as well? Think about that. Think about that going forward. So let your actions go before you. Your character traits, because that's your makeup. That's gonna be the resounding factor of what's executed in your doings. It's your character makeup. No angry birds here. No hating based on color, based on what if you have straight hair, curly hair, nappy hair. Based on who was your mother, who was your father, that has nothing to do with Torah, any relevance to the Torah today in 2018. You know what does? Is that the character makeup. Does your character line up with the laws of Moses? That's what makes you a Hebrew. That's what makes you a Jew. That's what makes you an Israelite. That's what makes you a Hebrew Israelite, whatever name you want to give yourself. Character matching. They want to do all this DNA type thing, this characteristic stuff. No. It's character matching for those people of the books. Does your character meet this? If so, you're Israel. If not so, then you can't claim Israel. Because your character doesn't match. You don't meet the character of the laws of Moshe, of the laws of Moses. So be it. This is what it's all about at the end of the day. It's not about class. It's about, does your character line up with the Torah of Moses? Do you love your neighbor as you love yourself? Do you love your neighbor, period? Because some folks don't even love themselves, let's face it. But do you love your neighbor? Yeah, but Rabbi, I love the God of Israel. But you hate your neighbor? What good is that doing you? Again, you're drinking pig water. Quit fooling yourself. Many folks think they have a relationship with the unseen God, yet they struggle with relationships with people that they can see. Go figure. You struggle with relationships with people that you can see, yet you think you have a relationship with an unseen God? Can somebody help me with that? See, this is all stuff that's just made up in their mind. These Jedi mind tricks. They make all of this stuff up, and they live in this fictitious world. But reality hadn't slapped them in the face yet. How many of you know Mike Tyson? You know, I was in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. Do you know I seen Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson was in Las Vegas. I seen him. In the MGM. I seen him. I was like, wow, that's Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike Tyson. How many of you know Mike Tyson? I'm going to tell you something. When he was a youngster back in the day, when he just knocking everybody out, knocking everybody out in the first round, he made this statement that it just resonated with me, and it's so true. You know what? He said, you know what? Everybody's a good boxer. And I think I'm paraphrasing this, but he said, everybody's a good boxer until they get punched in the face. Think about what he said. I mean, those are some very wise words when you think about it. Everybody's a good boxer until you get punched in the face. Think about that. And I'm pretty sure the son of Aaron will tell you, being a black belt in Taekwondo, yeah, he can dish it out, but he had to take some blows too. You see, it goes both ways. He said everybody is a good boxer until you get punched in the face. And you know how I want to bring that into the Torah? Oh yeah, everybody's a Torah follower until you have to love your neighbor. Until you have to love those that hate you. Until you have to love those that say all manner of evil against you. You see? Until you have to begin to take this Torah, and what Torah literally slaps you in the face, and you have to begin to apply it. And you're thinking, oh, I ain't gonna do that. God will understand why I don't like that person. Really? The Master Yeshua says you have to do the great commandment behind loving the God of Israel with all your heart, your soul, your strength, and your very being is to love your neighbor. Wow. That's high up there. High octane stuff there. So, consider these things going forward, Mishpachah. Don't fool yourself anymore. Because you think about it, at the end of the day, you're only fooling yourself. I don't care, you give yourself these titles, you put yourself behind, you put all this facade up. But inside the building is just emptiness. Then let's not do that. Let's be real and be realistic. And really look at the facts on the ground. Not all of these truths are there. Everybody's got the truth. What does the facts say? What does God say according to God? Not what God says according to man. And when you understand this, Baha, who the God of Israel really is, who are the teachers, the facts on the ground, who are the teachers for Israel, you understand you have to fall in line with the sons of Aaron as Israel. I don't care what your color is. I don't care who your mama's last name was. I don't care what your socio-economic status is. I don't care what your color is. None of that matters. We must look at the facts on the ground. I don't care what Rabbi said, what is there. I don't care. That doesn't matter. What matters is that Israel must and always has, when you look at the patterns of the Torah, we're always guided by the sons of Aaron. We couldn't marry, couldn't have a circumcision, couldn't do a war. We couldn't get on without the sons of Aaron. We couldn't get on. Our offerings, let's not even talk about our offerings. We couldn't get on. We couldn't get on. And to this day, it's the same thing. We can't get on without the sons of Aaron as Israel. So the question is who's your priest? The Kohen, the son of Aaron, talked about in this lesson, the priest and the prophet. But my question is, who is your priest? If you're Israel, you need to ask yourself that question. Who is my priest? Who is my son of Aaron? Because that's who I need to find in 2018. That's our pattern. I need to find the priesthood, the sons of Aaron, so that I can get on and know what I need to do, and I'm doing what's right in the sight of God. Because that's God's voice. God don't speak to me. God doesn't speak to me. But the sons of Aaron do, which I'm highly grateful for, and I will always be. I'm so in gratitude. I'm so grateful for the sons of Aaron. In my life, my goodness, my life has just changed so much for the good. Not that I didn't have those bad times in there, because those bad times helped me appreciate these awesome times that I live in now. Awesome times. I had to go through some things, and that's great. And I probably will have to go through some more things in the future, but it's beautiful going through situations. It's because the God of Israel is with us. His priesthood is here. The sons of Aaron are here. Because why? We are blessed above all people. That's what Torah tells me. That's the fact. Christians run around and tell you, oh, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. But what does the Bible say? The Bible says that the children of Israel are blessed above all people. Those that are within the confines of the covenants, you're going to be blessed above all people. That's just real. And it's not just based on our financial status. Blessed in relationships, blessed with children, blessed with health, blessed with that nice job. It's all the way around. Blessed with that nice house, material thing, maybe that nice car that you want. You see, it's all relative. Your nice and my nice are relative, right? Blessed with that loyal wife. Blessed with that loving husband that goes out and he works for his bread and for his meat. He actually goes out and works for it. He may not be working hard because if he's in the confines of the Torah, he's going to be working smarter. He's not going to work hard, but he'll work smart. Ukashim Master Jesus, Ukashim Master Yeshua. And I'll leave it at that. I think I'll wrap it up there. Rabbi Yosef said, Chief Rabbi, how do you love a brother or a sister who's doing you evil to the degree that they want you dead? And because of the mercy of Yahweh, they only achieve putting their brother in the hospital. He's praying seriously daily and overcoming. Well, Rabbi Yosef Hilton, it's very easy for you to love your enemy. Sometimes love means distance. You mean you have to stay away from them. That doesn't mean you have to be in their face all the time. And, many a times, I tell you, going through Africa with Hakohim, many a times people have literally told us to our face that they wanted us, they were going to put all kind of spells on us and have us for dead, this, that, the other. And last time I checked, Hakohim, the son of Aaron, and myself, we're still kicking. It's that protection of the Torah that you're going to get once you fall up within the confines and you meet the criteria, like what the Kohen was talking about in his lecture, which is very important. You have to be in compliance, and then the protection will be there for you. People are going to give you all kind of lip service and try to do all kind of things against you. I would encourage you, if this man is, within your confines and you protect yourself, if he's threatening you like that, then you need to protect yourself as well. Don't just, if you, protect yourself. And that comes in, here in Texas, that means you become a gunslinger. Texas, you can get a gun. You can get a gun and protect yourself and your family. But on the spiritual side, that's already dealt with. If you're within the protections of the God of Israel, fight your battles for you. You don't. We don't run around here doing bad things. What did the God of Israel tell us? He said, all those people that are hating against you, he's going to take those diseases of Egypt and put it on the haters, right? So that requires not doing anything tell you to do. He said, for these people, you have to pray for these people because those diseases of Egypt, that's the real deal. That's serious business. You see, so we don't fight our battles. We don't have to fight our battles, but we do need to protect ourselves. And I would encourage all of you the same way. Protect your house, protect your home. That requires you getting a gun, learning some taekwondo, whatever you need to do to protect your family, preserve life, do it. Somebody come in your house trying to take life, what are you going to do? You're going to preserve life by saving your life by dealing with that knucklehead. You see? Rabbi Yosef said, yes, I told him to leave the family home where he was living together. He has now moved into a rented home with his wife and daughter. Oh yeah, you just move away from that stuff. You know, who's to say you can't love from a distance? I know that for a fact. Love from a distance works. It does work. It does help and it does work. Love, sometimes you have to love from a distance. You know, I'm telling you, sometimes that love can really grow in some areas when you love from a distance. So really look at that going forward. And no worries. If they're in the confines of the Torah, everything's going to be fine. But I encourage all people, protect your family, protect your house, protect your home. That's most important. That's most important. Threats are just threats. What do they say? I was a child coming up, they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names would never hurt me. How many of you heard that before? So what? You say whatever you want to say. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names never going to hurt me. I don't have time for your drama. You know, I serve the God of Israel, and that stuff is real. It's not just a lip service. The God of Israel has protected me, and He's guided me and through many situations, and I give thanks to the God of Israel for that. Confines of the Torah, that umbrella being under the Torah, that's real. That's real. Yeah, we're going to have enemies. So be it. Let them be enemies to the laws of Moses. They're not my enemy. They may be enemies to my God, but they're not my enemy. I don't make them my enemy. You see. So I think that's very important to understand going forward as well. Is that we don't fight our battles. We only live under the kingdom of the Most Highest. We live under that kingdom. Under the kingdom of the Most Highest, under His laws. Any kingdom worth its weight is going to have laws that you must follow. And if you're in the confines of that kingdom, believe me, the kingdom going to protect you. Believe you me. We live in a great shepherd nation here in North America. I know I do. I'm in North America. We live in a great shepherd nation. And I pay my taxes. I was born here in this nation. And guess what? This nation's protected me, as I told you. There's people fighting tooth and nail to get into this nation. You've got to put up walls and all this other stuff to keep people out of here. So again, this nation protects us. We're protected. I think we have the strongest military in the world. We're protected. Believe me. We're highly protected. And I give thanks to the God of Israel for that protection. We're protected. No worries. And if you live in Texas, you already know we're protected. You already know how we roll in Texas. We're protected. You don't come on our property without permission, and we have a right to shoot you. If you have a sign up that says no trespassing, and somebody comes to your property, you have a right to shoot them. You have a legitimate right. So that's real. Texas is real, man. We don't play that. We love our families, and we love our homes, and we love our land, and we appreciate what we have. At the same time, we're very loving people, and we accept all. All are welcome here in Texas. And Texas is a great place to live. It really is. So if you're deciding to make a move, I guess I'm getting on my Chamber of Commerce field. But if you're deciding to make a move, Texas is a great place to raise a family, great place to live, great job opportunities here. Welcome to Texas, and we embrace you, and you're more than welcome to come to Texas. So I'm just being partial because I live in Texas. So just disclaimer, full disclosure. So on that note, I'll wrap it up and wish you all a great Shabbat, great 6 days of labor ahead. Continue moving forward. Continue. I mean, we're not going to sit here and give you all the nuances, this, that, the other, all the deep understandings when we need the basics. We need to be dealing with characters and how to change our character and how to live, how to get on. You see, how to get on with our fellow human beings on this earth. And in a respectful way. I think that's more important. We need to do it in a respectful, honorable way, showing mercy, just as our Abba is merciful. We need to show mercy, show kindness, show compassion, and combat all this hatred. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Hakohin, and anybody else. If you have any comments, any questions, this is the time now. Other than that, Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to you across the pond and in the east. It's Shalom Shalom. So on that note, I'll turn it over to Hakohin, and we'll meet again. If the Abba desires to linger, we'll meet again this Shabbat. We'll see you in Israel.
Yeah, Toda for that, Rabbi Kefa. Toda, and I'll wrap the message up with the words of the Master Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, saying that what good do you have if you just love your own? So I think that the love needs to expand out and needs to be for other people as well, that those that don't know Him and those that don't believe in Him and those that don't serve Him. So with that, I will leave you with a message. Those that are listening on the MP3 later today is to take on the Master Yeshua as Lord and Savior, but with a right heart attitude, and do the commandments as He is instructed, and then may you be right in the sight of God. So with that, I think it's important that we learn that it is better to love than to hate, and we have to really sometimes zip our mouths and not to speak words that are words of hate and words that negate, because one of the things that Rabbi Kefa was saying, that sticks and stones, he was talking about that little parable, sticks and stones don't break my bone, etc. But really, to be honest, negative words spoken against you by people that claim to love you will affect you a lot more than sticks and bones. Sticks and bones can hurt your bones, can break your bones, and that's okay. Actually, that's actually better than somebody speaking real words of hatred towards you. They will hurt you a lot more. So I think it's much more imperative that when we speak, our words should be carefully crafted for especially our loved ones and those that we are dear and near to, because they will help those people much more than words that are negative and words that are spoken with hate, because they will affect those people much more than sticks and bones will ever affect them, because they will carry that negativity and they will carry that hatred. Because if you hate somebody, they're going to remember that. Your one line of text, your one line that speaks from your mouth, you would have hurt somebody a lot more. And there are words in the Bible that speak in such a way, and it says as follows in one of the sayings of the Master Yeshua. He said this. He said, "It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality makes her the victim of adultery. Or anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery." And a lot of people from there, a lot of people in churches from there came up with all sorts of fanciful ideas that you shouldn't remarry, divorce is not permitted, and things of that nature. But really, it wasn't negating anything that Moses had written. It was actually telling you that there are people in this world who will just divorce a woman, as it was happening in the Master Yeshua's time. They were divorcing women for bad cooking, for something that you didn't do right in the home. So really, that's why the emphasis was put on that the emphasis was put on forgiveness more than punishment. So therefore that's I think another important area to look at, and remember that he didn't come with new commandments. He came to reinforce what was already there. This is what we call spirit of the Torah, not the letter of the Torah. The letter of the Torah will tell you to do one thing, but the spirit of the Torah will tell you to do another. In other words, you'd have to go a little bit further than the letter of the law. And that's, I think, most of the time that's misunderstood, misapplied, and people continue with that. So however, be mindful of your words, and do the thing that pleases the Abba in the heavens. So with that, I'll wish you a great Shabbat in North America, and Shalom Shalom in across the pond where the day has potentially ended. Have a great day here in Florida and across America. Nice and sunny down here today, no rain. We did have nice rain yesterday. Baruch Hashem, has to issue for the water that came down. Needed it. So I leave you with till the next week. As the Master wills, may you all be blessed in his name, and in the name of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. May the blessings of the Lord God of Israel, Yahweh Elohim, the Lord of hosts, may his blessings be upon you all. Todah. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.